who's the best coach right now? Blade. And then you go forward 2 years and you see Blade struggle. You go, who's the best coach back then? No, it obviously wasn't Blade. And you're like, well, right now it's obviously Blade, right? It's not even like up for discussion. So seeing someone bounce back from that is super nice. We've played Liquid a lot of times in the last year, like probably most of any tier 1 team that we played against, and usually it's always a draw 13-11 over and over, and the pattern was we couldn't break their CT side and their T side didn't feel good, and that's kind of how the pattern was. And then we played this one and it's like, wow, they've got an amazing CT side and T side seems 10 times better. What was like one of the most defining moments of my career is like qualifying to the first major, and it changes lives and stuff. And like for Bad News Eagles as well, it changed lives. Like it really did, and it mattered. It felt like it mattered. Like you were there. When we qualified, we all jumped in the pool fully, like with all our jerseys and stuff on, and like that was the story. And then we did interviews, just celebrating. Like I remember we did a post-game thing with Freya. We're like holding like the qualified thing to the major. Like there's so many little things that made that moment like super special. And then we're playing this, and I'm genuinely sat here. The reminiscence is like of the close qualifiers to qualify to the RMR. That's how it felt at this.
Like, it is like that though.
Yeah, it's exactly how it felt, and there's no like passion to it. There's nothing there. You're out of the game from VRS. You play online at your PC, and there's no like any team could have qualified to this. By the way, cheaters could have easily got through. Like there's nothing really stopping them if they really want to do it. And then we have this is the most important tournament of the year, and coaches can't even be there. We're not having to be in the rooms, and that's like a instant disqualification. Like what the hell is going on? Like this was like. As a coach, this is like the most important event of the year, and you really prove yourself as a coach. Can you handle the pressure and make good calls and calm everyone down and everything? Well, now we're just like, this is the only tournament of the year. You don't have a coach in the room. Why? This is the major. Like with the major, they've got coaches there. So why? What's the point?
In this episode, me and Banks was joined by Ash, the coach from GamerLegion, where we talk about the move Mongols made to Falcons, Falcons Bucharest Trophy, and what's next for Dexter. Banks and Ash will rage at the MRQs. Eternal Fire becomes Aurora. Some IEM Melbourne predictions, and ending on some viewer questions. Episode 8 of All About Counter-Strike starts now.
We are back, and it's time for episode 8 of the All About Counter-Strike podcast. As always, me and Devilwalk are here rocking it with you guys. I always give a time of when we film this in case something happens, and you guys are like, why didn't you cover this? So right now in Ukraine, it is 8:13 on the 17th of April 2025 for Devilwalk, and I think for Ash as well, it is 19:13. And that's it. We got our guest here, another guest. We've done very well with this. We've got GamerLegion's coach, Ash, legend when it comes to making it through and finding success and finding a way to make players succeed across these early parts of their career for sure. You get a lot of praise for this, mate, but I don't want to ask you how you are because I feel bad asking you how you are given the current situation. But where are you? Let's start with that.
Okay, so literally where are we? We're in Berlin right now, in a boot camp. So you can see players walking in and out. So hopefully it's not going to be too loud or anything like that. But we've had like a deep talk today, I think, about how we're feeling about the major and everything. And to be honest, it's just in the past. So we've got to get on with it in life, and that's what we're going to try and do. Obviously, IEM Melbourne, we're flying in about 12 hours. So I think just go straight to
there. Damn. Well, I mean, you guys are a team that can literally beat anyone. That's my feeling going into things. So it's probably a good thing having that kind of talk, reset, and just go on with it. Because any tournament you enter, I always like watching your games, and feels like you can beat at least anyone when you go into it.
Yeah, I think we're starting to feel that a bit more. I think the only thing we hadn't really had in a while is like beating a top 10 team. So obviously having wins against Falcons and like the teams around us like Astralis, VP and stuff. I think that's the world of good, especially like young guys. So yeah, that's how we feel as well. So we just need to like find more consistency with it at the moment.
Nice confidence boosting. I don't know. You probably haven't had any time to look at our previous episode, but I know we spoke before. You said you've seen some of the headlines of when we did this massive interview with Mongols to kind of break the announcement of him going to Falcons. I want to just get your perspective on it because obviously this looks like the biggest move of the whole year. I know Rops was obviously a huge one, but this is a crazy one to have Nico and now Mongols on the same team for Falcons. What did you think of the whole thing?
I think it's the move itself is crazy. Like it's amazing as well in a way to see like what's this team going to look like again and what Falcons going to build in the future. Like it's like the Galactico football sort of thing in Real Madrid. Like it's because they have the actual theoretical dream team that everyone in HLTV forums is always looking for, right? My main takeaway from the Mongols talk and obviously here in Swanee as well, is that
Yeah.
I just can't believe how well this guy's performed. Seems like he just seems so unhappy, like the tone of everything, and also hearing other things do as well. And if you think, wow, this guy must be a real pro, right? As well, because he didn't seem happy, he didn't seem to like the way they were playing or anything, and yeah, he's just easily top 2 player in the world, like top 3 minimum, you know, and he's just like an unbelievably talented kid, and he must shows like a lot of professionalism in him, but he's still so young as well. So he kind of came out of nowhere for me, and I'm sure he just wants to play with me in Nico again. So it was very surprising to us.
And we also got a lot of love from, I'll just mention this, for everyone from different news websites. Even HLTV Confirmed pretty much did their last episode just talking about what came off the back of that. So that was a big one for us. We're going to keep it rocking with as many episodes as possible for you and covering everything. And our first thing I want to start with, Ash, because you were involved in this, is PGL Bucharest. Now, for me, obviously, I worked as a talent dev. What you're watching at home, Ash was coaching his team through it all. But it was I wouldn't say a strange event, but it was just like an interesting vibe event, because like even from the first day on media, it was very chill. The whole thing was studio, no arena to go to in the end. But it was like there were so many upsets at the beginning. I was just lost in it all. Like none of the favorites were winning the matchups. I think we predicted maybe 3 games correctly, Devilwalk, something like that.
Yeah, it was a real weird one, because I mean, everyone going like, I mean, we can just say like Falcons starting on that 0-2 looked like probably the worst team at the entire event after 2 games, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Liquid did not pan out well for them at this event either. So, and Mongols and, you know, even Aurora, like someone I had as probably one of the favorites going into it, just kind of didn't show up. At least the Mongols didn't show up the way I wanted them to or expected them to play.
Yeah. What was it like for you, Ash? Because obviously going into this event, you guys probably looked at it like you had a very good chance here with the field of teams that are there. You make your first playoffs as well. Just how was it, especially your awesome group stage performance?
I think first off, I felt a little bit aggrieved, to be honest, with the way it started, because we were seed 9 and the Buchholz system, right? So obviously, at seed 9, you're meant to play the best seed in the entire tournament. And my kind of assumption would be that by playing the best seed in this tournament, if you lose, you would get like the guaranteed easiest fixture in terms of seeds, right? This makes most logical sense, because otherwise, why not just make first against 16? So when this game happens, and obviously we have a semi-close game against G2 and didn't go our way from like experience levels, I think we're kind of just a bit behind still. Then to go in the next game and all the top seeds losing, we somehow end up being nearly one of the bottom teams of the entire tournament. So I don't really understand what our benefit was at all in being seed 9. Like it felt like in the comparison, like VP played team 16th and they're 1 seed ahead of us. So they, in theory, they just get the easiest game. I don't know who they played, but in theory, they get the easiest game.
They had the Chinese team. They had Rare Atom.
Yeah, and then
they lost.
They get the, in theory, easiest team, but then also they had a higher seed than us when they lost still. And I don't really understand how that isn't making any sense. Like, obviously for G2, it seems a bit nicer for them because they get easier games after the first win if they win as the first seed. But why in the ninth? There's a 9th team are we doing this? And also, when it just feels frustrating that when we are the 9th seed, we played the major and it was like best of 1s, and then you think, okay, best of 1, at least you have like an outside chance of it being random. But then Bucharest, like, oh no, it's best of 3 against you, so you have to win a best of 3 against a number 1 seed. And then the downside is if everyone loses, we just get a hard game as well. So that just doesn't seem to make any sense. And obviously when we play online, we're the number 2 seed, and then we have to play a best of 1 against, instead of being a best of 3 now, we have to play best of 1s against Namiga or anything. So it just feels like we're getting the wrong side of everything in that way, and I just kind of felt that it should be structured in a way. Like, I know the system is to make more sense later in the tournament based on like how the opponents are doing, but it just feels like in the second round, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Why at the number 9th seed are you being punished this hard? Like, it'd rather be 16th. It seems significantly better, obviously, for the first game.
Yeah, I think so too.
It just feels like you're going to lose, and if anyone else messes up, you suffer for it. So
yeah,
I think from going from like that and then going recovering and having to like obviously play against Falcons straight away, who are, they end up winning the tournament. That's our 0-1 game, and obviously they're winning the tournament in really good form. That kind of feels like already that you're in a bad way in a way. So to recover from that start and then make the playoffs, I mean, that was kind of a bit magic from us in a way that we have to do like the super hard way, and then also VP as well. It just felt like we had to play 3 top 10 teams in a Buchholz system where we're ranked 9th, and it just doesn't seem right, just because all the seeds got messed up. And it's not our fault for losing to the number 1 seed, right? We're meant to lose to the number 1 seed.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, we can say that maybe we should do better against G2, and people seem to think we could beat them, but we didn't. And then like, oh well, here's Falcons, like they just seem right in the system. So like, it's probably better than some other ones, but the second round doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, there's always been this kind of issue with Buchholz, though. Like even looking back at past majors where you have or qualifyings for majors like RMRs, there's always been like one team has this like super mega easy route where they're not like facing any opponents at all, and other teams are like facing the top 3 teams in the brackets. So
we've
there
been
is
on the right side of this sometimes as well.
Yeah, and but
right.
it's boring to some extent, especially when so much kind of stands on it, so much weight in it, and especially if you go into like a best of ones scenario, and you start losing and just it's a bad system, but unfortunately there isn't really a good one in this kind of group stage.
Agree.
I want to come into playoffs looking at this because I think obviously if we look at group stages, the obvious disappointments are Mongols, like not making it through to playoffs. They were obviously expected to do it. Astralis considerably still don't look good. Like I'm very worried for this team. We'll comment on when it comes to the MRQ later, but I think those are probably the biggest disappointments, right, Devilwalk, of what we looked at.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I expected a little bit more of Liquid. I can give them kind of a free pass because it's like the first tournament with Shui. And they haven't really. I think they just went on the server and tried their best at that point, not really having any structure or knowing each other that well. So it felt kind of mixy rather than them showing the strength of their team.
Yeah, I agree as well. We played them in practice maybe 4 times. They looked amazing, to be honest. And we played.
Oh, really?
We played Liquid a lot of times in the last year, like probably most of any tier 1 team that we played against. And usually it's always a draw, 13-11 over and over. And the pattern was we couldn't break their CT side, and their T side didn't feel good. And that's kind of how the pattern was. And then we played this one, and it's like, wow, they've got an amazing CT side, and T side seems 10 times better. So when they went into this, I was expecting like full honeymoon period and everything's looking great, because that's kind of how it felt in practice. Obviously it hasn't gone that way, so that for me was quite a big shock seeing them come last. I think did they come in the end? I don't think they were. So
they didn't win.
That was surprising, sure.
They definitely, I agree with what you're saying about how they need some more time as well, because obviously I think Shuhei told me on the media day you can only count in his hand how many days practice they had actually to get ready for the tournament, so that's always going to be tough. But do you think Ash, and I guess both of you, because it's a coach question, they don't have an actual coach for the team right now? They've got their analyst being the coach in there. That's got to be hard for Shuhei anyway. You get a brand new team, you having to do everything with an analyst who is not normally a coach, and then try and work that in. Like, this isn't a good starting point for trying to have his loan work out and see if he's going to be the piece they want.
I mean, it's going to take a lot more time. I mean, just looking at practice, they're not going to get that many notes when they are playing in the same sense, or fast fixes, things like that. They kind of have to have group conversations after. It just makes the time they spend less efficient. And that combined with, changing an in-game leader is something completely different than just changing like an anchor, a rifle, or entry that you can just kind of slot in and get to learn this person. Everyone, it changes the whole dynamic, right? Everyone needs to play different. There might be role changes. There's new strats, especially if you're an IGL, you come into a tournament, you don't really have your comfort strats in yet. Where like, okay, we're in a bad situation, we need to run this. I feel like, it's going to be really tough for them. But having a coach definitely makes that easier.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few angles about this is expected for me. Like, first off, when he went back to Mao's, obviously this was a big step up for him, but he was playing with, I think, every except for Frozen, he already was friends with or came up with.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously, for that point of view, he knows them all already, and he's obviously fit into the team because there are dynamics are there, right? And it's like Frozen is new, but it's just one guy, right? And they'll probably enjoying this and everything. And it's like if you go into like a new group of people you don't know at all, obviously you feel awkward, you feel difficult, and you want to try and fit in, and they might try and accommodate you, but it takes some time, right, to feel that way. And also he's playing with now, I don't believe he knows any of them, including Ultimate. I don't think he knows a single one of them like at all, except for maybe like saying hello at an event, talking for 2 minutes. And also like Twists and Nerds, like they're not like the just small time players, and Nath as well. Like they probably have big egos, and they Chewie probably feels like he needs to prove himself quite a lot to them as well. Obviously, also being on a loan, it's not completed, so there's a lot of pressure on him. Having like a coach to like mesh them together a bit more, and just being like an intermediate and fitting in the guy in and helping him, I think that would be helping significantly more. And like you said, they barely had any practice, and also Liquid's best map all year has been Anubis, by far their best map, and Chewie's permaban's been Anubis for a long time. And, like, imagine how he feels as well. Like the whole team know he's not played the map. Of course, like Nath and Twist and stuff, they're gonna call like, I want to do this, this, and this, and how can Chewie be like, no, because he doesn't really know that, and he'll be open about it as well. He doesn't feel super comfortable on the map yet, playing new positions, new environments, straight into LAN the deep end. Like, it just seems inevitable, to be honest, at this point, that they wouldn't have a great start. Yeah, mainly because of the Anubis thing, and the map pool was unreliable anyway, right? So, yeah, a coach would make a massive difference here, and they still don't have him signed. Maybe the Triumphs with someone now. I'm not really sure. I think when we played them, someone was using a fake account or something. So someone probably is there helping them, but that guy also isn't fully in the team as well, and whoever it is new as well, right? So they're doing.
It's not the same. Definitely not the same. I want to go on a positive, turn into that. Looking at Complexity's run, that was unexpected for sure. Obviously, they'd been doing some damage back in North America. They were qualifying for things. Then they came to Europe and qualified for the Yala. Obviously, they're not able to attend it, but they beat, I think, like Metasport, Passion's pretty okay beating in there. But to beat Falcons, Furia, FaZe, and Aurora and take 4th place, I never expected in a million years for Complexity, considering they added 2 new players and they looked like they didn't know what they were doing. Yeah, they were rookies coming in, but it looked so uncomfortable. And all it took was JT to take some like good positions that he was like used to calling from, that he's got some confidence with. And now they're all back on track. Like even Grim was fragging out. And I think Sixy, if that's how I should say his nickname, I think he was the one that most impressed me of like hugely improved. That was crazy.
Yeah, I agree. No, but I think what's so impressive about Complexity is not like big name players. They're just taken, I mean, similar to what Ash does with several of his teams, right? They just take the natural pool of talent that is there, bring them up. It's not buying out massive, players that already have all the experience on this level. They actually have to kind of teach them the ways of it, and to be able to perform with this lineup. If you look on paper, it doesn't look that great, but what they showed on server is so much more than the sum of its parts in some way, that it makes it even more impressive.
Yeah, the thing that strikes me with this team is I think they were on like a massive losing streak, right?
Yeah,
they lost all the LANs in Europe, like everything they attended at the beginning of the year. Let me just look. It was like North American events they did fine in, but they didn't even win games. Like they went to Katowice, lost to Eternal Fire and Liquid. They were in Blast Bounty, they just lost to Virtus Pro. Yeah, it was 0-2, 0-2, 0-2. And then Cluj Napoca was 0-2, 0-2. They beat Imperial Valkyries, the female team, 2-0. Then they lost to Saw 0-2. So like everything was 0-2 against like opposition that they should have been at least somewhat competitive about.
Yeah, I mean, Devilwalk probably knows as well that when you're in a run like that, you kind of just need to go away and just batter someone, right? And then obviously being in an A team, like it's perfect for them because obviously they are still a good team, even when they're struggling. And they go back to NA, they win a few games, and suddenly they go into this tournament red hot out of nowhere, having a massive losing streak. And for most EU teams, something they wouldn't play any online games. So I think that has helped them hugely. And they come into this tournament, it's a completely different team, and it kind of shows like. People kind of mock the mental coaches and the people that are just focusing more on the mental side of things. But this, how can you say this is suddenly tactical? That they went from just horrendous to like this, and also they changed the coach as well. They just
they got no coach, by the way. They got zero. Like Messioso's the manager slash everything right now because Complexity doesn't have any budget to hire anyone.
Yeah, so there's no way they just binned everything and everything works. I think the structure was all there, but then just a little bit of change, a bit of confidence, and it just shows what the difference of confidence can make, right? Because this team looked like it had zero potential or future or anything, and then suddenly, like, wow, this is a team that almost wins the event. And I didn't get to watch them play and see like how they were doing it, but
they actually played really well. Like it was super structured. You know, I think you had like Nick's. How do you even pronounce his name? Nick
X, I guess. Or
Nick X. But he was like a super solid anchor. He was, you know, shifting his plays up all the time. Didn't feel like a scared, like I've probably seen them in the past, where they just kind of give the space to the opponent constantly. They're making plays and making, you know, the other team feel annoyed to some certain degree. So I was really impressed with them. And also like Halserk massively stepped up.
Yeah.
He was great.
And Grim kind of finding his kind of form before Elise got there. If I remember correctly, I think he was quite a high performing player for them before Elise joined. And then he kind of toned down.
He was like a star player before he joined Liquid, right? And he didn't get any of it. And then he joined Complexity, and again, obviously, Elite comes, and he's probably felt
it drops off.
Probably felt like frustrated for the last year. Then finally, Elite leaves, and that's the whole question mark of Complexity: is how do you replace a Legion? You go, Grim, please be that guy that we thought you were, like you're in Liquid, and now it looks like maybe he's ready to step up in that way. And if they're able to do that and it gets more out of the team, then suddenly you have a team that could actually, you know, you could have like a good future. And also playing the way he did there when Opps are struggling so hard, like that gives them like there's potential in this team to keep. Like no reason why they couldn't keep this going, right? Since they have solid pieces.
Yeah. It's a funny story about Halserk is when we were at the event. So like, you know, we had all those studio tables down. His table, for some reason, no other tables had it. Had this like PGL Bucharest mouse pad that takes up the whole desk. And then for the first game, he just played on that as well as like his mouse pad on top of it. And then, bro, when they won that first game, he asked the admin to like write down the height of the table. He said, I want this mouse pad at everyone. Like he was in his own head of like, this is the God setup. This needs to come with me everywhere. And that was so funny, bro, because I was doing the interview with Grim, the first interview, the winners one. And then all of a sudden, I'm seeing this admin next to me pull out a fucking ruler and like check the height for him and give all this information to Halserk. And he's like, can I have this mouse pad?
But it's so funny with players sometimes, you know, like I know like Flatro used to be like that. He would change mouse every time. And then anytime he had a good like game, this is the mouse, you know, I need to use this with this sense. And you just create this kind of like weird things in your head about it.
Yeah,
I'm sure you have some.
Uncommon, right? It's not even
no, it's like super common.
I do it, man. If I play one good game with a good crosshair, in my eyes, I'm like, yeah, it's definitely the crosshair. It's nothing to do with me, and that's it. I'll keep that there forever.
Yeah, it's a way to like minimize this. It's a trick your brain a little bit, you know, minimize.
Yeah, placebo effect.
Yeah, the downside is it just you have an inconsistent setup all the time, so you're probably not going to be the most inconsistent, right? But it stops people from tilting sometimes, so it's not always bad. It's like,
you said about tilting.
Change resolution after every game and stuff, you know, like it's.
Yeah, but you said about tilting. That's actually a change that Halserk's made as well. Because remember, we had thread after thread about him smashing the desk and smashing his chair and getting full tilted. He's actually did a lot less of that. Seemed more positive as well. So he must be just a nicer teammate to be around.
I think I saw him in the broadcast though yell it's both Swedish.
He was yelling at the teammates. It was good.
Oh, I saw him once yell, and this is just Swedish for pussy, like fitta.
I've heard that one a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
I saw him yell it out, and I started laughing at my watching it.
We need that. We always need that. I want to ask you, Ash, to start with on Aurora, because obviously they went under a lot of pressure from community when they changed organization. Obviously they went from Eternal Fire to Aurora. Seemed like the players didn't even know too much about what was going on. They got a lot of like social media backlash. They still make playoffs, but again, they lose to Complexity and then they don't win a game in playoffs. Like this is a studio environment playoffs. I actually put them as one of the favorites to win the whole tournament. Like is this a worrying sign that they just can't even do it when it comes to a studio environment as well? Or do you give them a pass because of the change?
No, I give them a pass. Like, it's weird because like everyone expects everyone to be better all of the time, and they don't value consistency. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. I think they made playoffs every single event this year.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if it's because people just don't like Turkish fans or something, like winding them up. So they're like, oh yeah, Tunnel Fire not tier 1 and stuff like you see all the time, right? And they're just saying put them down. But what more can you ask? Is any other team like maybe something like Vitality and maybe Spirit of any other team like made playoffs every tournament this year? And they changed players, at the start of this year. And it's not like they have huge budgets and a huge talent pool. They basically picked the best 5 Turkish players and made the best of it, and they're doing amazingly. So I'm not even like, we just expect them to win like every tournament now or something. Or like, I don't know. I genuinely think they will win a tournament soon, but obviously the teams are really strong. We've got Mars, Vitality, and Spirit are just looking like potential all-timer teams at the moment. And then you have a Turkish team that's like coming out of nowhere, still upcoming. I'm not surprised that they're not instantly winning things now. And I'm more impressed that they keep doing it, even if they probably had here disappointed that they lost to, I think, Complexity. I think they got knocked out of. Of course, like, they're disappointed in that, and that kind of shows how the standards have risen. Because they Tunnel Fire, I knew back when I was playing a year ago, and I'm sure you the same Devilwalk. It's like they were top 30 team all the time, and if you played against them, they were easy to play against. So probably the easiest team to prep against anyone. And we had like a 10-game winning streak or something against them. And every time I played against, like, you know exactly where all the players are going to be all the time. They're never going to change. Your prep's the easiest thing in the world. Can you out-aim them on the day? Maybe that's the 50-50 bit because they just always hit sick headshots all the time, But now it's not. It's completely different now. Like, maybe it's not the most evolved thing tactically still, but it's completely different to how it was back then. And the X Factors they all have like an X Factor, every single one of them. You put any of them in a clutch, including the major, they can win them, So yeah, they're going to win a trophy soon, in my opinion. I think it's a matter of time. They just need the other teams to drop off a little bit, keep progressing. I'm not surprised that they're having a bit of inconsistency here and there. Like, you make a change of player, of course you're going to not be perfect straight away, right?
Yeah, but are they like the top team in terms of like having 5 people from the same nationality, or like they the best?
They must be. They must be the highest. Because Spirit isn't. It's 4 Russians and 1 Ukrainian. So they are the only full 5 players from one country, because they're higher than Mongols now, I believe.
I think them and the Mongols must be the highest ranked.
Yeah. First it's Aurora in 4th, and then it's the Mongols 7th.
I mean, that in itself is impressive because, as you mentioned, Ash, there, like the talent pool is so limited.
Yeah.
And you can't really make that many changes, and sometimes you just have to stick it through for long periods of time until someone just shows up. So yeah.
I mean, you'll know yourself, right? Like when you've got a team that's so good, like when you're a Fnatic, you want to, even if you're thinking of changing someone, you need someone who's so elite to stand out.
Yeah.
Even in the talent pool that Sweden have, and even then you're probably struggling to look at who you could get that would improve on what you had, right? When they're doing it, I could barely name you 10 Turkish players that play in HLTV regularly, and that's like, how would you make a team that's one of the best in the world out of that? If someone's doing a great job somewhere, I don't know if they've got like a lot of good academy coaches, or if
they had a Tunnel Fire academy team.
Yeah, they did.
They had a Tunnel Fire academy team.
They had from there and Jota, I think.
And Jota, yeah.
Yeah, so they're also doing something good from there. So I mean, something obviously is working really well in Turkey.
Bro, there's a lot of Turkish players on Faceit. I'm not talking like level 10s, but I mean playing actively and actually trying to grind and get somewhere with it. They're kind of helping fly the flag for the country in terms of actually getting people to play and be interested in it all. Before we get to the final, Ash, I want to get your thoughts just on for you guys. Obviously, you faced Falcons in the playoff game. You had beaten before, but in playoffs, did you notice any difference in your team because it was the first playoffs for like these 4 players outside of Res? Did you notice any difference, even though it was still a studio environment?
Yeah, we were nervous, like 100%. We were
really?
Nervous. It was disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they played a lot better. When the day we played them, it was our S tier game against the C tier game, to be honest. And even if they were in the right positions, we killed them. And then it kind of flipped on its head a little bit. I was a little bit annoyed, to be honest, by the interview that Magist gave afterwards. It kind of shows why we beat them in the first place, because when they say we beat them, it's because we have gimmicks. And then I watched their first few rounds back against us, and they just played heavy gimmicks. Like, so why is it when you beat us, it's gimmick? When you beat us, it's great Counter-Strike. When we beat you, it's gimmicks. Like, this is like kind of one of the reasons why we beat you in the first place, because when we start winning, you can't handle it because you just think we're shit. So
I think that's a classic, when you're at a higher tier kind of mentality as well, because you know when you go up in Counter-Strike, you play gathers, you play face it, people are like, oh, you're so stupid, you swing there. And then they do the exact same thing, and no one complains just because they're the bigger name in some sense.
Yeah. It's like I think that's one of the reasons why we can beat them, because they just, I don't know if it's all of them, if it's just Majesco, if it's just like a random throwaway quote that they genuinely feel like we broke them with like a gimmick. I even watched the game back, we played Inferno, we didn't do a single gimmick the whole game, 13-1. Anyway,
what are you talking about with gimmicks? What do you mean?
I mean, the thing with gimmicks is if you can do something that so catches them off guard, it just makes them like scared of their own shadow a bit, and they're scared of like rotations and second guess themselves all the time.
But isn't that smart?
Well, it's like all in place. It's like no info.
It feels like you're losing randomly. So next time you're like, oh, I don't trust this smoke because they might just walk through it. And in that sense, fair enough. We beat them on Inferno, playing T-side, and go watch the game. We didn't do like a single gimmick the entire game. And even if we did gimmicks, we'd have to like have the best. Like I'm the best coach of all time to win 32. So like I'm not saying like they are one of the best teams in the world. Like, I'm not like downplaying this or anything, saying we're as good as them, but it just feels like super disrespectful. And then obviously next time we play against them, you're just giving us ammunition to play it back against you again. So it just feels it's just a bit annoying that you why even try and downplay us? Like it was embarrassing for you even if we did gimmicks. Like just get on with it, be humble with it. You expected to beat us 10 times out of 10 times anyway. So
did he do an interview after he lost to you?
No, it was after they beat us. He said that one.
Okay.
You beat us. And I'm like, I said to the team before, and like they're gonna be super hungry to beat you now, and we know that we're not just like better than them anyway. Like, we're not deluded about anything like with this or anything. So we were disappointed because it felt like we just couldn't play our game style. And they did gimmicks against us on Ancient, the first and second Byron. Like Kixon just ran through the window smoke instantly, rushed all the way from middle through the window smoke, killed 2 people. I think it got in our heads really bad, and. I respect this gameplay super. Like, it has so many like mental benefits. If you win the round, you cook the other team super bad, and especially against a young team, it makes sense, right, to do against us. But if you lose the round, obviously you set the other team up for a great game. So they did a good game plan. They worked against us, and unfortunately, we couldn't reset from it this time. Obviously, we've gone away, talked about it, and next time we're going to hopefully learn from this mistake. And it just felt like the occasion got to us. The third map, I was disappointed by the way we played. We were all disappointed as a team. It kind of shows the level that we've kind of risen to at this moment. That we played against a team that won, and they were the best team in the tournament, and they were good going into the tournament, and we beat them, and we nearly beat them a second time. Like that was super close to the end. So obviously for us, there's lots of positives to take away from that, and there's lots of lessons as well. So next time we'll go into it hopefully with a bit of a better mentality. But it's like I said with Eternal Fire, right? As soon as they have a deep run and win a tournament, then they're going to be better. But until they get there, it's just you make a few failures, you lose the complexity, and you think down about yourself, and you go away and you learn about it. And eventually you win one. The same with like Mouse and playoff stages and stuff, right? Everything will click then. For us, we're kind of just in the very early stages of our development, and I'm super proud with how we played and everything. It's just at the end, it was just disappointing to lose the way we did, because I just didn't feel like we played up to the level. We just kind of slowly faded away, and there's nothing more annoying than when you feel like you're going to win a series, you win the first map and you think that's it, it's there to be taken, and then you kind of just fizzle out. So it was super good from as well, so loads to learn from.
Yeah, I mean 13-7 Inferno, and was that where you felt like you kind of fizzled away on the Inferno?
Yeah, it was both maps, to be honest. The Inferno was, I think Inferno would just been a bit stale recently. We've been focusing so much on other maps, and T-side, we were one of the best like rated for quite a while on T-side, and it was really good for us. And then we going to CT-side with a lot of confidence, and our CT-side was rated the best in the world. And it just feels like recently our T-side we've just been broken too easily. We've become a bit too predictable, and half of our game plans have just been change this. And I was like talked about this before. Like you eventually, if you change enough things enough times, but you're not practicing something, you just kind of get away from what you're good at. And that's kind of what we did. Instead of focusing a heavy like game plan on B, where we've been super successful and playing off the back of it, doing naps, cops and things, we've kind of been like, okay, we haven't been using A. Well, let's start using A more, A defaults, brushing pressure in A, and then going back to B. And obviously, it should be like a small change, but we haven't practiced that way as much. And it's kind of been a bit of a mess. So we've gone away practicing now, obviously, but when we lose Inferno after winning Train, I mean, obviously there's a lot of doubts because we expected to win Inferno. We just beat them 13-2 as well, right? So
it's in your mind.
It's one of those things, though, but like, it's always like you practice for like 2 months, you play a tournament, you're smashing on this one map, you move away from it because people are going to start picking this map, or they start veto your map, so you don't practice it as much. So you only have a set limited time of choosing what weekly practice you're going to do. You're not going to do most of the time, not all 7 maps in a week. That's not possible if you want it to be efficient. So is that kind of playing into it, where you've kind of stepped away from a map you're really good at to be better on others?
Yeah, it is. And you can see, like, if you play against us and you play Train, you pick Train, because we lost like 13-5, 13-2, and then maybe even 13-2 again. So obviously, when you go away, we can't have a situation where we just lose 0-1 like every time we're serious. So we went away and fixed that, and that map was looking like amazing, probably been our best map in practice. So when they picked it, it wasn't a surprise for us that we won that. But obviously, you just can't balance all 6 maps or 7 maps you play them equally. You have to put focus somewhere, and when you have a best map, you go, okay, probably they're not going to pick it anyway, so we don't have to worry about it too hard. We probably have enough, unless we're playing like a team that's really good in Inferno. Then we won't pick Inferno, we'll pick a different map instead. And that just kind of gets pushed down the pile, and then you realize it's not as good anymore. Then you go, we fix that, and then another map gets worse, etc., etc. Right? So half the time when you're doing a veto, you think you've got a team like there and beaten, but actually they've changed everything. So it actually doing a super outdated view. And I've had so many times, by the way, where you plan to pick a map, and then the other team picks the map, and you're like, oh, okay. Something's changed here. You know? So
all right, we also just look quickly at the grand final. I'm going to ignore FaZe for the moment, because I feel like third place is okay for them where they're at right now. They're just grinding through things. The final, I would just say I would call this the conflict of interest final, because it had to be, like, we're so fucked in CS if our grand finals is where a player has already signed for the other organization and they're playing against each other, and we're just thinking this is normal. Like, in my mind, I was very much, oh, okay, this is great. Honestly, wins the last trophy for G2, takes MVP, and then goes off to Falcons, and everyone's happy. Never did I expect what we got instead. Like, G2 played like arse. Like, this was terrible. Like, watching the games go down, I don't know about you, Devilwalk, but I was like, at times even embarrassed for them. Sometimes their rifle, like, Monesi was doing good. I think it was on the Mirage, right, that went first. But then it was just like, the rifles, they'd be in advantage situations, they'd have the plant down, they'd have sight control, and they just whiff or throw rounds away.
Yeah, but I also think, like, it's such a weird scenario when you have the player that is kicked is the best performing player in the game, you know?
Yeah.
It's just axed and it's just going Super Saiyan.
Dexter's having his moment. He's like, okay, this is my last run. I'm gonna be incredible.
Don't you think we've been robbed of some drama, by the way? Because it seemed like Dexter was going to post like the angriest post-game tournament.
Bro, they didn't win.
If they went 0-3,
we were going to have so much drama. And instead, we just got the most wholesome Dexter ever. It comes after us like, oh, yeah,
bro,
this is great.
His 180, I'm going to say, is a bit down to like the mental approach and what Lars does for Falcons. Even though Lars wasn't there in person, I didn't see him once, but they talked to him all the time. And he's like the performance manager. Obviously, he did all the success with Astralis and Vitality as well. But I heard the same things you had, where Dexter was like, I'm going to talk afterwards, right? So I couldn't get him for content. I couldn't get him for interviews. I requested him on media day. I did not get him. Like, I could not get anything with him. And then they won. And I just looked and I was like, well, I can't stop me interviewing him now. And then I thought, he's going to mic drop this. But obviously, he was so excited. He was so happy that he turned into like, oh, it's all
like
good.
Like something, right? It's just like a dog.
Yeah. he's just like, he's never won an S tier trophy. He's never been an MVP, right? And obviously, it's good way to go out. But I'll say this, for people that think he was like mistreated, Dexter's not an idiot. He knows that Monesi would upgrade any team except for Vitality unless you move Zywoo to Rifle, right? Monesi is an upgrade for every other team, even Spirit, whatever you want to say. Monesi is an upgrade. This was rumored since Nico joined. Last year, people were talking about Monesi going to Falcons. So Dexter must have realized, unless I put up 140 rating every game, I'm probably not going to be here. So just got to make the most of it. And whatever mentality he switched, look at all the games he played individually after the first, when there was 0-2 down in the groups. He just went, whoa, like a rocket.
Yeah, I also think Dexter is kind of a weird player, though, if we're on the topic of him. Because he makes so many micro mistakes in a game, but gets, like, somehow he gets away with it. He's always caught in, like, weird position, manages to get the kill anyways. It seems like, he needs to be on his day for him to really work at a top tier like team. If I look at him, I don't know if you guys agree on that or not, but
let's see.
I honestly, I've literally never really seen him play, to be honest. And like, I'll come back to what you said as well, Banks. Like the start, I'm so happy to see like a guy win a tournament and not be like, I proved you wrong, everyone, and you shouldn't have kicked me.
Yeah,
I'd be like celebrate the moment, because like, I always hate it when like people do something really good and they don't like enjoy the moment. And he's done like something amazing here, and this is the first time. And for him to be like so wholesome, like it's so nice to watch. You know, like he's just praising everybody, and it seemed like he was going to throw everybody on the bus. It was going to be so funny, and then we just get this, and like I love that. But I don't really know so much about him as a player, but it's great to see like as well. Like he knows he's going on the bench. There's two ways you can go. You can go horribly, or you can step out and show what you can do. And now, hopefully, from this, he does find himself back on the team again. I don't know if he went into the Falcons project knowing he was going to get benched, or knowing that they needed the core. So
he has to have known. He has to have known.
You think there's this suspicion, but I think also players, they rate themselves a lot, right? And you think, I'll just outperform. It's fine. A new team, everything. I'll be great here, and new coach. It'll be much better. Like I imagine there's definitely like a bit of that there somewhere at the same time. But it also felt like to me heroic were going to kick him from the stories and stuff that were going out. So kind of went into Falcons and having nothing to lose anyway. So like, why would you say no? It seemed like they were getting rid of him from all the interviews and everything. For the visa problems, I'm not sure if they were just unhappy with him. So I'm super happy with him. This should hopefully give him like a new era to his career and give him something else he can build on now. And
well, I think what would be nice, if you're Falcons right now, you just let him go. Don't try sell him. Don't try put him in some contract jail. Of all teams that don't need the money from like selling him, just let him go as a free agent and do what he wants, because I do feel sorry for him that he is very fucked at the moment, that if he has another team to go to, it's very limited, because obviously if he's got a visa now, I don't know how long that's for, but that's vital if it was a European team. Otherwise, he's going to be stuck on some tier 2 or 3 Russian-speaking team, which is probably not where he wants to be, you know? Like, his options are quite limited. So if Falcons were to do the right thing in my eyes, just let him go, let him be a free agent, don't try sell him. Like, just help him get progress as quickly as possible.
I kind of liked when I watched HLTV with Swanee. Swanee's idea was quite a cool one, with like maybe going to FaZe or Liquid. Like those are the options in at least the top tier. Like I mean, I could see it. He has all the skill to do it.
Are you on the brokey out train, Devilwalk? Are you?
Well, I mean, something in FaZe doesn't seem like FaZe anymore. I don't know what
People think it's a leash.
Well, I'm not sure. It's just him pulling everyone down. That seems a bit weird. I think still it feels like all the players need a kind of reignite to some degree. Doesn't feel like everyone's lost a couple of percentages.
Bro, they're going to make Grand Final of a major again just out of nowhere.
Yeah, probably.
I think if we're back to the Dexter thing as well, you got to assume in first off that Falcons don't act as a business at all, and they just don't care. And they just say, we don't care about money, and they just, just go away. But I think like the main reason why I don't think they're going to do that is because the ARP market is just horrendous at the moment, with obviously the state of the game, which is really hard. Like you pick an ARP up and go play Face It. I think it's like a decent level. If you just get swung at the moment, it's really hard to hit the shot on the fast moving target, and he dies so quick. It's almost like a reaction test, holding an angle nowadays, which is really hard. Do you really want to let him go fix up a team's problems, like go to a team where they have an ARP struggling on the back of this form and just go, oh yeah, this is a harder team for us to play against? Or do you say, actually, we've got so much money right now, sit on the bench, you know, just fine. We'll just take away the competition, you know, like sort of say where you just hoard all the best players and then it's just easy to play against everybody. So I don't know, maybe they have that approach as well, but you don't want to see that from any player, and it is a career killer. And I think so many players that just think, I'll have a holiday for 6 months and I'll take the really good salary, and people just forget about you, or they do what I do, which is worry that you haven't played any HLTV games, you may not play any Face or anything, and do you keep your level? Like, it's a genuine worry, and that's probably a reason why people aren't willing to go for simple right now. Do you really pay a huge buyout on a guy who's struggling at the end and also doesn't seem motivated to play the game? it's scary, right? Because people like you talk to any player now, and if they say, I didn't play this week and I'm really rusty, guys, I don't feel it, I need a week to get up to speed. And you look at a guy who hasn't played in a year and you're like, well, what's this guy going to look like? Does he remember any of the
how
days?
far out is he?
Does he have any of the feeling of the game? How long is he going to take to get sharp? Is he ever going to get back to that level again? Like, I don't want Dexter to sit there. And I hope he wants to leave as well, and he's doing whatever he can to get out of there to not give people doubts. Like, you don't want to try and buy a player who was good 6 months ago and pay $500,000 for him or something, right? Because they won't let him leave for a good amount of time. So I think it's in the best interest for him to just get out as fast as you can. But also, like 90% of players, like Hooksy again, do you want to, like, I know you're burnt out and everything and you're stressed and it's been like really hard for you and all the community pressure, but if you don't get away, sooner or later, people are going to worry that your level is going to drop even more, and they're going to just remember the Hooksy that got kicked, the Hooksy that didn't go to Dallas and they won without him. That's what people remember, and then it just becomes harder. And you go from, like, as a player, you think I've made it to the top. At the worst that's going to happen now is I'll drop down a little bit if it all goes wrong. But if it goes great, I'm going to stay on this team forever. But in reality, people just fade away quite often. So just hopefully you can get away from it somehow, not take the bench salary and try and prove himself again.
I've got a little bit for you of info on this, though. Just a rumor that came out was a team that's practicing together, at least playing together for fun at the moment. Yeah, could be just some, not scrimming or anything, but just some face it. It's Inters, Dexter, Simple, Perfecto, and I can't remember who the fifth was. But that that would be a wild one.
I don't think that one's going to be happening.
Simple and Dexter together. Let's put them in the same boat. Why not? Why not? But Falcons, that was... Go on.
I think it's more likely if we had the old system of like open qualifiers to an RMR instead of consistently grinding through this like VRS system, which is, I don't think you can mix it up and just bam, we're in.
Bug it out. Yeah. But Falcons, to be fair, lifting the trophy, first ever tier 1 trophy, Zonic finally getting one again. It's a nice one for Dex that we touched on, but also like Sonic still, I think it's only 1 year in recent time that he hasn't won a trophy, you know, like he's still managing to win trophies. He's still managing to do something with pieces. Obviously, probably under a lot of pressure to do it now. I feel like for me, there's still, even with Munacy, it's still one player change away from being a team that can compete with like your very top S tier players. Would you agree, Ash?
I think they have all the pieces there. To be honest, like everyone, they've got experienced coach, they've got winners in Majestic, who's a really solid player as well. They've got Kixon, who seems like one of the better upcoming leaders. Maybe he's even maybe he's even the best. We don't know. Right, it's hard to like quantify it unless you played with him and you played with other ones. So if they're able to build like a really good system, like why couldn't they win? Right now, they have like Tessis is one of the best role players in the world. He knows how to do his job amazingly all the time. You've got one of the best AWPers in the world. You've got the best rifler in the world, like who isn't named Dong, you know, and it should have good structure. And I'll just say as well, like, I'm super happy for someone like Zonic, because when you're a coach of a team, you don't a lot of the time get a narrative around you. Either you're rubbish at your job or you're good at your job, and you won all these trophies. And imagine having an era like defined Counter-Strike and all these different things, and people say, oh, you know, it was just because of this guy, or just because this guy. Like, you even did it like yourself, and with Falcons, you said the mentality thing. Like, it's probably all on the mentality coach, right? But I guarantee they all had super deep, meaningful talks, and they all tried to get it off chest. They all tried to help with it somewhere. And yeah, probably this guy, maybe he was like the catalyst for it. Maybe he was, but we don't know for sure. There's no way of knowing anything. Maybe it just clicked, and they all just fixed everything. And it's the same with coaches, right? You have Sonic, they're all saying like Sonic's washed and whatever, and nothing he did matters anymore. Like, come on, of course that's not the way it works, right?
It's one of the greats.
It's like if you look back at one of the best sports players ever, and you go, oh well, in this modern era, it's different now. He wouldn't have done it. Well, he did it back when no one else could do it, and obviously he's the best out of everybody, you know. And maybe Sonic isn't like the most up to meta, super motivated guy right now. This is just like maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But when he was doing it, obviously he was the best, and I think it was undeniable. It's like nowadays, if you said, who is the best coach right now? Blade. And then you go forward 2 years and you see Blade struggle. You go, who was the best coach back then? No, it obviously wasn't Blade. And you're like, well, right now it's obviously Blade, right? It's not even like a discussion. Yeah. So seeing someone bounce back from that is super nice. And with a team that you had to do like semi from scratch, like it's, I mean, they've obviously done it with a lot of money and everything as well, but it's not like it just wins itself, you know? So I'd like to see him have like a bit more of a consistent run now, because they have been like super poor, like really, really poor. bringing Nico in. It just kind of shows how good Nico is like for the future as well. Like he can just come in and just win a trophy, but from the way they've been looking, I guess
this Nico m0NESY duo is going to be the one, right? That's what I'm going to believe in with it. I feel like I was never a Falcons hater, but I was just like, you're buying 3 players to get VRS points to get invites to tournaments, and these didn't look like well put together teams. Now I feel like Nico's there, and this is just I'm guessing, right? It's assumption. I know nothing personally, but I know Nico's probably saying, okay, I'm here. I want m0NESY. Let's see if we can get him. And then he'll probably going to say, I also want to try and get this player, you know? I think he'll be very vocal on getting the players around him that he wants to succeed. And if he also believes in Kicksan, because Kicksan was talking very positively about how Nico's helping him to me when we were doing the media day stuff, I think that can also be a positive. And then obviously Zonic, he has all this experience. He knows what to do. He knows how to make it work. So I feel like even if they're spending a lot of money, it's different to some other teams. Like if we compare it even to the budget you would have at GL compared to Falcons, it's incomparable, right? One player is probably your whole team. But
yeah, we have more money than them.
But it's fucking crazy that like they could be in a situation now where they can finally get a team that's interesting. That's what I'm excited about, because all the other teams to me were like they've kind of been forced together, like someone's just getting a hammer and trying to make it work. But now we seem to be building something that could be like a legitimate team. That'll be my ending point on it. All right, next where we want to go. This bit's probably, I don't know. I have a lot of opinions on this. We might need to start talking about the MRQs. We're going to talk about the MRQs as a whole. It's obviously for the Blast TV Austin Major. It's the next major we're having. But fucking hell, someone please wake up. Please, God. Like, I have emailed this to multiple people now, including Valve, to say, you gave tournament organizers, a choice between doing LAN and online. And obviously Blast chose to outsource it. So I don't know if Relog or these other companies had to buy it, or Blast just gave it to them and they said, okay, you run this for us so we can focus on making the major epic, right? But this doesn't even feel like a qualification for a major. This feels sad. This is looking terrible. This is not good for our game. And I'm not going to put all the onus onto the tournament organizers, because they all have budget problems as well. Like, we don't have as much money in esports as we used to. Budgets are under straits. People are being bought and sold out everywhere. So I'm not going to say, oh, Blast, you should have done it. You should have done it on LAN. I will, however, say, Valve, you made, what, 8 million from this new case or something? You do well every time there's sticker money and things coming in. I know it's already expensive to run the major, but please, just write in the rulebook, all qualifiers for the major must be on LAN and must be like, and we'll pay it. Like, give the tournament organizers the money. I know it's expensive, but we've gone from RMRs, which I fucking loved. I remember being at so many RMRs. I'm doing the interview for someone who's first ever made it to a major, or someone who hasn't made it to a major for a few years and's brought his way back in, and we got all this hype. Instead, we've just got online commentators, a shit broadcast, no player cameras, no hype. It's fucking pathetic. And this is supposed to be a run-up to our major. And I know you're smiling, Ash, but it tilts me beyond belief. I don't care if they didn't even hire me. That's like, just use anyone. I want to see it. I want to be watching and feel that emotion. That's the whole point of the RMRs. And now it's just an MRQ, which is pathetic and online.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks the energy away from it. And it doesn't really make you motivated to, as a viewer as well, to watch it. Because I think one of the most special things about the RMRs, or how it's been in the past, is, as you say, like, you see the emotions, you see an underdog story, and you just see them like kind of burst into this emotional euphoria of making it to, you know, an event they've watched people play and dreamed about for years and years, playing this game, and it's the ultimate goal for most people to go to a major, and not being able to see that and just sitting online, clicking through a post or like a thread, seeing someone qualified, and that's it. It doesn't. It removes so much of it. I mean, I would rather they go back to this like 2014-15, hire a old school gym hall and just put tables in there and just film it. Like, let us see the emotions. If that's the budget cut that is required, I'd take that over
long as the
what we
PCs
have
are
now.
good, as long as it's still LAN,
Yeah.
we don't need some fancy studio. I don't need lots of fucking lights and flashing cameras. But it's like, I don't know. I don't even see normal interviews being done with players, right? I don't. Have I missed them? Have I seen like people are qualified?
I don't think there's even text ones. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so rough.
Yeah, it's the worst thing because if I think about what was like one of the most defining moments of my career, is like qualifying to the first major, you know, and
Yeah,
it changes lives and stuff. And like for Bad News Eagles as well, it changed lives. Like
Yeah.
it really did, and it mattered. It felt like it mattered. Like you were there. When we qualified, we all jumped in the pool fully, like with all our shirts and stuff on, you know, and like that was the story. And then we did interviews, just celebrating. Like I remember we did a post-game thing with Freya. We're like holding like the qualified thing to the major. Like there's so many little things that made that moment like super special. And then we're playing this, and I'm genuinely sat here. The reminiscence is like of the close qualifiers to qualify to the RMR. That's how it felt.
yeah.
It is like that though.
Yeah, it's exactly how it felt, and it just there's no like passion to it. There's nothing. The official streams are boring. Like they're really poor. It's hard to even find them, to be honest. There's two of them, and it's just there's nothing about it. And when the RMRs used to play, you used to get like borderline 100k viewers, right? They're super interesting.
Yeah.
So they were really super interesting, like as well. And seeing players go to the first lands of things with lots of pressure, and instead we just have like the teams who are really good online were really good at this RMR, by the way. It's just unfortunately the way it is, and they dealt with it like the best. But even from like competitive integrity, it's poor because you don't have teams on the same ping. You don't have teams on the same computers. You don't have teams in the same locations. Like what tech issues are just like tough luck, like whatever. Like the admins are there together, fixing everything, making everything exactly the same. So you know at the end of it, you got the best team. You got the team that could handle the pressure in an environment, and you could like have some fun with it, have a proper LAN. Because you're going to LAN. The majors are played online. So why are we playing? Like why are we playing like a 5-a-side football game to qualify to the Premier League? You know, like it makes no sense. Like you should be playing the exact same situation that you're playing at that one, and that's what makes the RMR so special. And there's huge money on the line, defining money online. We can't even see if people are playing legitimately. Like I've seen, we all the teams like requested like specific camera angles that show like the whole room and the monitors, and then we got sent a outline thing that just says, oh, if you have this angle and you can see like back of the monitor and everything, you're back on CCT again. I'm not saying that anyone here cheated or anything. They made it a little bit harder, but why are we doing this again? Like, I understand, like, for the tournament organisers, I 100% sympathise. Baying for these hotels, finding somewhere, hiring someone all the time. Like, you book out an entire hotel for people who don't know. There's barely a single person in the hotel. It's like all staff and travelling out all everywhere. You go to a separate location with time to like do everything as well. This is such a huge cost, but at the same time, I'm reading articles Valve making 100 million on case selling and stuff like this. Why are they not, like, this is the competitive side of the game is so important, and this is like. The RMR was like, oh, if you were with your friends, you could qualify to the RMR and to the major. And like, for example, Bad News Eagles again didn't have an organization, and they made ridiculous amounts of money, and it changed our lives. Now we just have like you're out of the game from VRS, you play online at your PC, and there's no like any team could have qualified to this. By the way, cheaters could have easily got through. Like, there's nothing really stopping them if they really want to do it. And then we have this is the most important tournament of the year, and coaches can't even be there. We're not having to be in the rooms, and that's like a instant disqualification. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, this was like. As a coach, this is like the most important event of the year, and you really prove yourself as a coach. Can you handle the pressure and make good calls and calm everyone down and everything? Well, now we're just like, this is the only tournament of the year. You don't have a coach in the room. Why? This is the major. Like in the major, they've got coaches there. So why? What's the point?
That's what doesn't make sense to me. Then? So, like, if you've allowed the coaches to be at the major behind teams, right, and that's fine. There's no way that it shouldn't be at the MRQ. I don't care if you have to be in Discord or on camera 24/7.
They're saying they don't trust coaches because of cheating, right? So why do they trust the players for not cheating? Like, it's significantly easier for the players. They could sit there with wallhack and aimbot right now. Genuinely could do it. And I guarantee if we stay online, it'll happen. We're going to see like I don't want to say names or anything. We're going to see like these tier 2 teams. I've been very vocal about these guys cheating. There's so many teams out there who are just blatantly cheating right now. Blatantly. And it's really horrible to watch. And they're winning one map super close and then just losing two super hard all of the time. And we're going to have situations where, why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you cheat in CCT and other things to get VRS to go there if you can just do it without an admin sat in behind? Why wouldn't you do it right now? There's so much money on the line. It's going to happen. And this is the way the game is going. And this, like, the competitive scene is so integral to the growth of the game. And I'm not saying it's everything. Obviously, it's not. But it's so important. And Valve have all the money there. Do they not want the money anymore? Do they not want to invest in their own product? Do you think it's just going to die? Like, we just can't just have some integrity in the game? Can't we just fix a good system? We just have to go, oh, here's the ranking system. Oh, we believe everyone's legit. Oh, you're playing the RMR? Just play it from your home. Oh, you went to LAN and you went 0-3 every single time. Oh, well done. Like, we just got a terrible LAN out of it. And by the way, the EU team will suffer as well by not sending the best teams to LAN. We're going to lose more spots, and we're going to have weaker regions sending more teams again. It's just so frustrating from that point of view. And obviously, I sound super sour about it, but I tell you now, I always feel like this anyway. I'm not happy with the fact that we have to play it in these circumstances regardless. It just seems stupid. And the fact that we missed out on this by getting screwed over in the first place by not being able to attend Lisbon, and we've never come last at like any event ever. And all we had to do was win one game to get there, and we got screwed over by doing well at Katowice. So we missed out on this free invite straight to the major, and then we go like, well, go enjoy your kickabout in your five-a-side for the Premier League. Like, what the hell's going on? Why are we doing this? Let's not have this. Like, I'm fine now. If we have this now and this is the end of it, and we say this is the wrong thing, we fix it. I'm happy with it. I don't want to do this again in 6 months' time. I'm in the same situation. We just all the online teams go through again, and we go to LAN and they bomb out. What's the point?
Mm-hmm. No, I have a lot of sympathy for that. We had a bunch of tournaments we missed out because of what we still believe were cheaters when we were in B&E. They would be terrible on LAN, as you say. They would know everything online. And it's like situations that don't even happen. Like, I've never seen them happen before. I've watched and played this game since like 2007 and never seen these situations happen ever. And just it's blatantly obvious, as you say.
Looking in a corner of a wall at Donut and then being able to perfectly rotate to the side.
I mean, I have so many examples that just pop up by sheer trauma in my head when I've watched and rewatched games and situations that I just don't believe exists, that anyone could ever think like this is going to happen.
Ash, I'll tell you this now, from what we were just saying, obviously we all agree on the point of this, but like when we get to the major in Austin, I'm going to go, I've already emailed Val, but I'm going to go and talk to him about it as well. I'm sure someone like Sponge is also talking to him about it. That this small change, I'm sure, right? So how many teams is it for each region in the MRQ?
It's different, isn't it? It's based on how So the teams that bombed out affected the rest of us.
So like there's right now there's 16 teams that are playing in this MRQ. Yeah. That for anyone to know in terms of flights, if we're doing it in Europe and to get anyone to one location, you're probably looking like 100,000 anyway. So we need like for all different regions, all different, like imagine the Asian ones being put together as well, the Oceania ones, America. Let's just say, let's ballpark this as Valve would need to put in like an extra 1.5 million to make this work, yeah? For Valve as a huge company and the money they make from cases in the game, I don't think this is too big a ask. It's a lot of money. Like I'm not going to shy away from that, but the TOs shouldn't be given the choice. It should just be, you have to run it on LAN. You've got this money to make work with it. Do it the best way you can. And even what you said, Devilwalk, put it in a sports hall.
I don't care if it's in a gym hall and they've reduced the cost by several hundred thousands. I don't even care if they would tell me like, you're invited, you have to pay a small amount of money to like fucking get in hotel rooms or something. I wouldn't even mind that because it's a huge chance. Like it's not a big gamble if I would put like $500 into hotel rooms to help out the event actually happening on the LAN to avoid all of these issues, right? I would do it every single time.
Yeah, I think as well. I'm scared you're going to gloss over it, but best of ones for me is. I'm hating right now, and I can actually bring something up. This might seem like I'm like just being petty again or something, but so we obviously just lost now to Amiga and Fnatic in the best of ones, right? Yeah. And I'm just saying today, right? So imagine the high that teams are on right by the way. So Metisport and Amiga, imagine the highs they're on right now, right? They probably feel the best they've ever felt in their careers, yeah? I think we can agree on that. Yeah. They probably feel like CS is easy right now. Today, Namiga played against Gun 5 and lost 13-7 in a best of one. And then 3 hours later, Navi Jr. beat Gun 5 13-2, right? So keep that in mind. Like, so they got absolutely destroyed by Gun 5, who then got destroyed by Navi Jr., right? And this isn't like saying Namiga's bad or anything. It's showing, obviously, the point is that best of ones are just horrible. And then Metisport are on like a big winning streak now, right? Obviously, like I said, they're probably the best they've ever felt. They play against GTZ, Portuguese team. They're on an 11-match losing streak, right? and they lost to them in overtime. So think about that as well. Overtime is like the most. If you lose in overtime, you never complain, right? If you lose them both pistols and you lose, you say, yeah, okay, fair enough, maybe we didn't win it. But in overtime, you don't say it's lucky or anything, right? And then Nemiga just lost now to Eklot in overtime. So this is two teams that made the major. They both went 2-0, I believe, in that. And then they went through there. Now, the reason I just hate this is that we are meant to be the best team, right? And best of ones in this game, I have been vocal about this so many times before, so I don't think you could just say I'm being a sole loser, that if you lose pistols now and one buy round because of prep or anything, the game is just done. And when we're playing like Anubis, for example, and you start on T side and you have lose the pistol and you lose the first buy round, statistically you've lost. Like I looked today, nearly every single team in the top 50 is below 50% win rate. And if you give the other team 5 rounds before the game even starts, you're almost lost. And then if they win the second round, they win a few clutches because the game's super close, the game's over. And you don't get to see the best team. And I've said this before as well, the best team is not winning a lot of time in the match. It sucks. So why then from this? We were almost out after the first day. And I'm saying as well, we deserved to lose both games. We were really poor. We were super disappointed. Our communication was poor. We didn't adapt at all to online CS. We were just getting pushed and flanked by Fnatic and Nemiga over and over and over. Push, like they just didn't care, you know? And obviously, I'm not saying that they wouldn't do that at LAN, but it just doesn't feel like any game we played all year when we played both these games. And we didn't deserve to win. I'll say this like flat out now. We did not deserve to win. But to qualify from there, we have to win 5 best of 3s in a row. 5. Like, what is this? Like, so if we win 2 best of 1s, we win a best of 3, we're through. But if we don't win these super random best of 1s, we're just almost out. And we have to be perfect. And unfortunately for this team, whenever we've done this, we've done it the hard way nearly every single time and had to go through this. But at least I could be there and actually do something about it.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, oh, you lost 2 random games. Well, go win 5 best of 3s in a row. The best team will probably win, right? No, well, it just doesn't work like that, unfortunately. And we lost to Saw, and Saw lost straight away. And now Astralis have just lost the BA. So, well, betas, my girlfriend knows how to pronounce. So, it's just like, we've just seen, why are they existing right now? I thought the whole point of MR12 was that we can play more best of 3s and we can play best of 5s.
Yeah.
But then at the major one, we're not even like in a hotel room, but adding extra days. We're sat at home or at our own expense, by the way, in bootcamp. You think this is like free for the game? Like, we're paying out of our own pockets to get screwed over and play 2 best of 1s in a day. Why aren't we playing? Well, why does it matter how many days we play, by the way? It doesn't matter. We'll happily pay for an extra day to be here. We'll happily play for that. And instead we're playing best of 1s. And imagine how much pressure is on, by the way. Like, everyone's played Face It and lost to players that they know worse, just because the game was, you lose both pistols and you lose a couple of clutches and then you just lose anyway. How do you think that everyone feels like this? And I just said, like, with the examples, that GTZ team losing 11 games in a row, playing against like that, the most confident, really good Metasport team, and losing that game. Can you imagine how much more of an egregious example can you get? Why do we have this in this system right now? Like, the whole point of going to CS2 was not to like delete things like this. Like, let's get rid of them. We should be back on LAN. If we're not doing that, at least have best of 3s. We can't play 2 best of 1s and you're almost in the major straight away. You just can't exist like this. It's just horrible. And like I said, I want the best teams at the RMR representing the EU region, so we have more spots. I don't want teams that are just good online, just good in best of 1s, just good at pushing teams, and they won't do it at LAN, and then going out there and just bombing out, and then next time we fight for 4 spots. If you don't go 3-1, you're out. Like, this is the way we're heading right now.
And this is what I appreciate your words so much, because me and Devilwalk spoke about this on early episodes of the podcast, that we believe that VRS will take probably a year or so for them to try and fix in the right direction. But with MR12, there is no reason from now on, like, if it doesn't change from next major that it's best of 3s, something is fundamentally wrong. Like, there should be best of 3s and there should be a best of 5 grand final. I don't know what your opinion is on best of 5 grand finals, but when you've got MR12, I'm saying for people that bought a ticket, I'm looking at the fan side here. You go to a grand final, it's only the grand final, maybe a show match before. It's not worth the money for the ticket. You get better value on the other 2 days of when you're going to go watch some Counter-Strike. So give them a best of 5. The best Counter-Strike, some of the best finals come from playing these crazy best of 5s. We've had some good best of 5s already this year. Like, look at the one we just had in Lisbon, for example. There are more reasons now with MR12, and just for the best competition of the best players who spend their whole life for this game, working hard, the best coaches and people who put their heart and soul into it. Best of 1s are so random. They were already random when it came to MR15. MR12, it's even worse.
But it is like Ash is saying, like, you lose both pistols, they convert, they have to break your money once, and game is over. Like, that's it. That's it. They don't have to do more.
Especially with the like CT side just being like impossible. Like, if you have a good start on CT side, you've just won the game with 5 rounds.
Yeah. And I mean, it was a complaint by a lot of teams to play best of ones in MR15 and MR12. It's so much worse. Like it's not even like it's exponentially way worse. Like it's
also the bullshit about the cost now as well. This I work this out. Yeah, if you're running 2 streams like we do for the majors, and it is on LAN, at best it adds 2 extra play days. You can, if you did 4 best of 3s a day, yeah, and so that's 8 best of 3s across 2 streams. It's not a problem, you know. I don't care if you put the B stream or the C stream even online with some online commentators. As long as you've got other talent there to do the interview when he wins or goes across. Yeah, the cost to a broadcast or the cost to Valve could still only just be 2 extra days to make sure we have only best of 3s. Because it's only the first day that it has the crazy best of 1s.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say, like, I just a random thing I saw today, I think kind of wraps the point up a bit, but about like Anubis, for example, like I'm sure like Devilwalk players as well, like if you get 2 rounds of CT, you can win the game. But if you like I picked a game literally at random today to like draw on the map and have an idea, show some like ideas I was making up, and I picked Rare Atom against Tyloo, and I believe Rare Atom were winning 9-0 on T side, and then they brought the game back and they were winning 12-11. It went to overtime. I don't know who won, but it went 12-11, went to overtime. Right? Imagine that game. The second half, if they didn't win the pistol, by the way, they'd have to fall straight away. They lose, and then what afterwards do you say? You say that team's shit. They lost 13-3 on Anubis, but they won. They nearly won the game, or did win the game, because that map is so imbalanced right now. And all it takes is just a pistol round loss, and the game is done. And this is what's happening in the game right now. There are so many 13-1s, 13-2s, 13-3s that should be close games, but they're not because it's MR12 and we're not in MR15. And we played so many times in MR15, by the way, when we had the Paris run. We were 7-8-0 down, and we bring it back, have like an 8-7 half, and then we win the pistol, and then it's game on. And now it's just, if you are 8-0 down, the game is done. It's just unfortunate. Yeah. The game is completely done. If you don't win pistol, it is done. And pistol rounds shouldn't exist at the moment in MR12. Just the game needs a complete rethink. And like I've said before as well, to play the game now is fun because you can jump in a game and it ends in 30 minutes. You can play a face it in no time, and it's fun. You go around killing people. And if you lose fast. Everyone wants to lose fast. I've played with people who just want to leave after the pistol round, and that is fun. But in competitive, the best teams are not winning on maps very consistently. It's happened so many times where we come out of a game thinking, I don't think we should have won this game, or we won this, or we lost the game, and we think we really should have won that game. We were better, but we just lost a couple of key rounds. Our money got screwed over. Like there's got to be still obviously terrible right now, and you lose. MR12s are poor for me, but best of 1 MR12s. Just flip a coin and give us a chance. Actually, I'll genuinely take that. If you offered me 1-1 straight away, please, I'll take it instantly.
I mean, I think even going back to like when they introduced MR12 to like CS2 and everything, I think going back, I think the first thing I said about it was like, I don't think this economy system suits MR12 at all. Like it's made for MR16, and it doesn't make sense that, you know, you're so punished economically and you have to wait for so long to even get into the game. And I am 100% sure you can find a million examples of games where a team has won, but they've won less gun rounds than the team to beat.
Yeah, you really can. You see in practice a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
We have to pray. We love this game, but there's a lot that still needs to change with it. You just said about the Astralis one. Should we start looking at just the teams that made it through? Now, obviously, you guys, you've touched on your bit, Ash, with not making it through, but let's look at the teams that have made it. So, Heroic, OG went 3-0. Honestly, OG was not a team that could make it 3-0. Actually had you guys, Ash and Heroic, going 3-0. Then you got Metasport, BetBoom, Namiga, and Bait take the final spot, eliminating Astralis. That means 4 majors? No, Astralis is not at?
I think it's 5.
If I'm right?
Actually.
5, bloody hell. Oh.
I gotta say as well, like imagine like B8 have been like, they've been so close in all these RMRs. Don't you think like it's even for them it's a little bittersweet that they didn't do it together like at a big studio?
Yeah.
Finally, they've had so much heartbreak, so close, and then they do it online. Like imagine like even like fans will take away from this now. You know, like they'll take it away from them that they did it, especially if they
like do it on LAN or
they're just like online merch or something. Like it sucks for everyone, right? And like even like again like Heroic have just been so poor on LAN. Again, you're taking it away from them. They might be really good now. They might have improved a lot. And if they could go to LAN now, they bomb out. Everyone's going to take it away from them again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I'm really happy that OG made it. I think like Crizzen, I think, is done really good. Again, like, are they going to do it online? Like, this for them is like a really good learning experience, and maybe this RMR online would have been that learning experience as well. I think the team I'm most happy for is like Metasport, doing that as a Swedish team and doing it with an organisation that seemed to make so many poor changes, but then actually doing it anyway. We see the return of Hampus, Plopsky, and Isaac, who all had like real big ups and downs recently, and they go from fighter. And if you've kept an eye on Metasport recently, I've talked to Isaac quite a lot. There's so many heartbreaking moments. It seems like they just keep going to the final of everything. Third map overtime, losing, and they had so much trauma going to that Astralis game, and it went third map, thinking, "Oh no, it's going to happen again. We're going to lose again."
In the back of your mind.
Yes,
you don't have to scroll far in their match lists to see these heartbreaks against NIP, against Nine Pandas.
It's been consistent. Like the last few weeks have been like hell for them. I imagine there's that progress, and then just falling to the last third. There's nothing worse. It just happened over and over again. So I'm so, especially for Isaac, I'm so like happy for him to see him back there after the NIP thing that went so poor for them. And obviously that when he was at the end, we just had such a poor run of form. He bounces back, and it's probably like a middle finger for him to NIP, but it's too much for a nice guy to actually do it. But to go there, see them struggling that hard, and then he goes and makes the major with the Swedish guys that they also kicked or rejected and everything. I bet they're loving it right now, and I'm really happy for them. And when they play with practice, they play legit. I think at LAN they'll do pretty good as well. It's
crazy, though, right? Obviously, you took ZTR from them, but like after that, Nilo went to Heroic, right? Sus went to Wildcard as well. Like really well, they've had some players go on and do good things as well. Is Abdi still their coach at the same time?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I like Abdi. I met
then
him.
You're gonna have Adam. The twins are gonna see each other.
They're gonna be there together.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think they're not the best friends a lot of the time when they play together.
Maybe it's good they're not on the same team anymore. That's probably a good way for them to do it. But yeah, in looking at this, who would you say is the biggest surprise if you were to pick one team? Like Nemiga's not really too much of a surprise because
Nemiga is good. I think especially
that's the way kid.
Yeah, especially online. Like it's not like an install or anything that they play good CS, but I think online it works more just because it just feels easier to make you get fewer eyes on you as well. Like the streams have got like 1,000 views at times on Reloaded. Super disappointing, yeah. But obviously there's less like pressure and everything. You start home, you feel more comfortable and everything. You don't have any tech issues. They don't have a new desk or anything. There's something that throws you off your game that people shouting over. So for them, I think this is like it shows how good they can be at like these online things. But I'm not surprised at all. I thought they'd go through. I think for me, probably the biggest surprise would be maybe Bait. I think in the best form. A Metspot maybe as well because I've just been like teetering on the end. I think they just made it into the RMR into the MRQ in the first place, right? Ranking wise, they were super close to not making it. So yeah, maybe those guys, maybe Bait. I'm not kind of surprised.
I think Bait for me would be the one. Like I know Kenzazor quite well personally. Obviously, I know MPL and Hedrick for a long time as well. But this is a team that at times I thought, they're still 2 or 3 roster moves away, and Passion was making better transfers and stuff than they were by far. But for them to be able to do it this way, it's hugely impressive and probably much needed for these guys, especially with all what they've been through.
They've been really, to be fair, they've been really consistent online for that last year or something. It's just that they're going to LAN. I think they just don't have the experience. Like they're similar to us, like it's a very, very young team. That team, and your end game lead is so young as well. Like it's like a matter of time, I think, for them that they were going to make it. And like I said, they probably want to do it online. So we'll see how they do at the major. I think it'll be exciting to play good Counter-Strike.
Let's have a quick look. Stage 1 of the major then is now Complexity, OG, Bait, Heroic, Nemiga, Wildcard, BetBoom, Metasport, FlyQuest, Imperial, Chingis Warriors, Tyloo, Fluxo, and Lin Vision. It's not super exciting. I think the viewership's going to be pretty bad for that side of things. We still got one South American spot and one North American.
The twins play each other first game. I'm not sure exactly how it's lined up.
Oh, really? I guess it depends on the next 2 teams that come through, right?
I guess they're slotted in there in the middle of the rankings.
I wouldn't be surprised listening to those teams if a lot of the Asian teams made it through. So honestly, when we've played the Asian teams recently, they've been really hard to play against, like Tyloo, and I can't remember who the one was, but it was really hard fought for us, and I think they'll go to LAN and they will be the surprises. But when you read that list, it sounded like not a high quality list at the same time. Like it wasn't like any big blockbuster names. It doesn't sound interesting. It just sounds like when I hear those names out loud, I'm like, we missed out on a chance to go a bit of a major run potentially.
Let's look at the teams that missed out.
In theory, the EU team should all go through, and we should all get more EU spots, but it just doesn't happen.
Never works that way.
It never works that way. There'll be so many games that it upsets there.
So this is the crazy ones, right? Astralis, you guys, and probably Big or Ents, I would say, is like teams that I would have expected to go through that didn't make it. Oh, actually, can we take a moment, Ash? Because I don't know what you think of it. You don't even have to comment on this, but I'll just say this 500 player Oxygen. Well, you can't ever be beating these accusations. You fucked up so bad. Not only did you like his ratings were not maybe super insane. Some of his CCT ratings were fucking crazy, but he hit a career worst rating for this major regional qualifier. 0.51. The next lowest rating he'd had in his entire career was like 2020. So he'd had 5 years of playing better and being better. And then you go 0-3. You guys beat him. Big beat him. Ents beat him. And he played nothing like he played in online CS. I will just say that's one thing that was a positive from this RMR is that even online, he couldn't beat the accusations and he got fucked for this, man. That's got to be the end of him, surely. We spoke about him a while ago, Devilwalk.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure if we keep having this kind of qualifiers, they're going to pop up there continuously if we don't get into that LAN position that Ash is speaking about. Because, I mean, like Ash was saying, at some point someone's going to be cheating in these qualifiers as well.
Yeah, but I heard they made him have a camera on his... They made him have a camera on his monitor, right?
Yeah, but
is
it doesn't
right?
necessarily need to be him or that team, or it could be anyone, because at the end of the day, you know, maybe someone doesn't have the spotlight on them and no one requests it from them, and all of a sudden they're through.
I think.
Where were the cameras set up? Do you know, Ash? Because you obviously had it.
Yeah, I do. So first off, we haven't played against 500 all, and weirdly, I never see 500 Brax out weird. It's one of the only teams I never see actually ever doing it, so I don't think we've really ever against them, which has always been weird for me. Like, it's almost suspicious in itself that they don't see it.
Yeah, why are you not practicing? They're in just this like secret bubble of a practice schedule.
Yeah, and then when I was doing prep on them, it looked like a team that was playing the most outdated CS of any team I've played in actually a very, very long time. Like, the way they were defaulting, it feels like all the teams playing very similar right now. When I watched that Ancient, it was like, wow, they're playing like 2023 sort of CS, the way they're playing. It looks really, really strange. But for the cameras, it's like this is like a slippery slope as well, right? So everyone like did this letter together. I mean, I'm assuming I'm allowed to talk about it. If not, I guess see you in court. So. Everyone requested that teams had these cameras, like, extra added protection. Because obviously Valve just aren't doing anything right now. They're not being proactive at all, and they just don't seem to care about everything. So I'll just keep complaining about it, and they'll probably hate me if they ever hear about me. So and whatever. So we all drafted together some sort of agreement that we have cameras here, whatever. And then they sent us like the guidelines. Like I said, the cameras all behind the monitors. It didn't mean anything. We've seen like when they play as well, all the cameras are always behind the monitors, and you don't see anything. But I have a feeling that for 500, they maybe went an extra mile and said, no, you're not allowed to have that camera. Because when I saw 500 play the first game, all the cameras was we could see them. And then after that, they said, actually, we're not putting them on the broadcast. But Oxygen's, you could see his game. You could literally fully see his game. I was like, oh, that's very nice of Oxygen.
Good of him.
It's really good faith of him, you know, to throw his own POV, by the way, which, by the way, I'll say is sick. I've watched seeing someone screen like that. I always enjoyed that. When people see content. So, so I think for them, they might have gone the extra mile and said, you need to do this. And that is dangerous because why were the rest of us not forced to also do this? I would like it if we were all forced to do it, put the cameras behind.
Consistency.
Are they just saying Oxygen, everyone's suspicious of you, you're going to do it? And then, like, even if it isn't cheating at this point, there's so many, like, there's so much pressure on him anyway to do it, but then he didn't back any allegations up, right? And I'll say now that when I saw these clips, I was very surprised to see so many people defending it and being like, oh, he saw this flashbang go here, and he saw this here, but every round seems to be so unbelievably set on his pathing. He has to go exact way every time. And I had the most Joel flashbacks ever when I watched this. The way he hard cleared everyone, he seems like you're playing hide and seek with a guy that's like playing like with wallhack on, and he's just running around going, "Oh, I saw you here." Like playing hide and seek with a car, you just like look under the car and see people's feet, and you're like, "Oh, he's stood there. like when you were a kid and you just didn't understand like the laws of physics or anything, you know? So,
yeah. I can't see them; they can't see me.
Yeah. So what you're just telling me that every single tiny bit of information, he saw it and perfectly reacted every time and ran around and like insta headshot everybody every time. I just think you're gullible to believe it like that. It looks too perfect, and even if you cut out 15 times of him fucking this up and just getting shot in the side, the way he's doing it is like better than any pro I've ever seen. The way he's literally, it looks like he knows exactly where everyone is when he's doing it. And I've heard also that he's only doing it on Mirage or whatever, but he's too perfect when he did that.
Yeah.
And then you force him to have a camera here, like, and obviously we've all seen like the Akuma things where they're just like staring off into the distance, like, oh no, we're looking at my radar and like up here somewhere, like looking at the Eiffel Tower, and like, what's going on? Like, it's just so obvious that they were doing something very suspicious as well. And now, like, you put eyes on him, and now he just drops his worst career performance ever. I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously, if people said I was cheating, and then I had all these extra precautions around me, and everyone was saying I was cheating, everyone wanted to fail, like, it'd make me feel way worse. You know, as soon as I make a bad game, and I would probably crumble.
True.
But this is like the worst case scenario for him. And if he isn't like, I was surprised if he put out a post saying he's retiring tomorrow or something. You know, it's like, what's the point anymore? I can't go pro. But there's so many teams that are just suspicious who, in certain tournaments, are banging heads off and they're just winning. And 500 have always been that team, unfortunately, where if you're playing them in CCT or something else, you just cannot beat them. And I think in my entire career, we've never beaten them, but in every qualifier, we've knocked them out with so many lands. And it's been super consistent. There's so little good faith for these guys anymore. And I don't even know if he is cheating, but it just looks like, it just feels like...
It's not a good look.
Yeah, to defend that, I don't know what you're really saying unless you're just trying to be like, oh, I'm so smart. It's this little fraction of a second here, solve this little thing. What, he just perfectly reads everything, just like that instantly. Like, oh, this is here, there's a guy, oh, maybe there's a guy underbound. Oh, I'll just swing this guy. Oh, I didn't see anyone. He's probably playing default on a pixel angle. Like, what, he's just the most perfect player ever when he enters out on Mirage.
Donk doesn't do it, Simple doesn't do it, Zyru doesn't do it. I'm telling you, I've seen...
You're worried about 500 different angles people can shoot you from, and you pick the perfect one.
Yeah, and is he calling like the adaptation? Or we'll do this path in this round or something? Or they just make the perfect call for him like every round, and he just hard clears everything? Like, I don't know.
He's like, guys, I've got intuition. I'm taking this. I'm taking this beat this time.
Like I said, when we played against Joel and he beat us in a final, and everyone tweeted about how great they were and stuff like this, and how much progress they're making. I watched that game back, and he did exactly the same thing. He just ran out on pre-fired vault, like in every position every time. It didn't matter where we played. If we played two there, he just ran out with the most basic HP every time. We couldn't do anything, and I was very vocal that he was cheating, and that happens come right. So,
well, you were correct that time. Maybe you're correct this time as well. I've always been like, I've never come out. If you look at all my tweets about this Oxygen guy, I've never said he's cheating, but I just said you can't be beating the accusations when you're doing this. Like it's fucking nuts.
It's not the work.
So I'm worried because you got to go soon because you have your bedtime to be ready for jet lag, for beating jet lag. He's on a bedtime jet lag time, 9 p.m. So you got about 20 minutes. Let's get to Melbourne and then we can let you go after that so we can do a Melbourne preview with you. Is that good?
Yeah, sure.
Nice. So first of all, obviously, yes, the negatives are the MRQ for you guys, but that does mean you've stayed on boot camp this whole time, right? So like, how have you been kind of managing things? Obviously, you said about the team talk you had, but how have you tried to get yourself ready? Even just talk me a bit through this sleep schedule change to try and beat the jet lag.
I mean, yeah, this has just been today, this jet lag thing, because obviously we were planning to play today.
Yeah.
So not playing. We're kind of trying to make the best of a bad situation. You obviously don't want to fly the other side of the world 2 days before you play your first game, and that's unfortunately a scenario we are in. So there's potential here that things don't go great. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how bad it affected you playing the game.
It was like it's an unbelievable level of jet lag. Like you wake up like 3 at night and you're like bang awake. Like you can't force yourself back to sleep.
We exactly Shanghai. But does it affect you playing as well? I imagine it must do, right? It must be horrible.
It does 100%. I remember like we were going in
the
final in Melbourne.
B&E though, right? If I'm correct. Yeah. Cool.
Like we were so tired. Like we were playing an early game, we won it, and then we're playing the final. Like so, one game between, and then it was the final, right? At night or semi-night. I remember we went back to the hotel to sleep, and we woke up. We took the shuttle back, and everyone fell asleep waiting for the game to end because you have to get there like one map before it ends, right? That's when you take the shuttle into the arena, and all the players fell asleep, and there was nothing you could do. Like they literally sat on a couch and just bum. And we had to like fucking jump around, play games, try to like force ourselves awake before that final. But I think that's kind of the worst case scenario if you get an early game and then the late final instead of playing both at the same time in a row if you're jet lagged.
Yeah, I remember when we were in Shanghai, it took like 6 days to get over. We were meeting for breakfast. We were messaging in the group chat at like 5 a.m. every day. Like, oh, when breakfast opens, we'll go there. And then by the time it was like 3 p.m., we were like falling asleep and we were having to like, couldn't do any prep, any pracs or anything. And that happened like 5-6 days. And obviously, when we go here, it's 2 days afterwards. So this is our best chance of beating this, is to just try and go to bed super early and hope for the best. Then we're waking up at 4 a.m. and we've got Red Bulls ready at 4 a.m. because we're told it's the best thing to do is to do this now. You tie yourself out late and then we try and change it again when we're on the plane. This is like probably a little bit of wishful thinking to try and make the best out of it, but we have to deal with it. This is unfortunately like part of just the Pro Series, the system, to be honest, having to play this MRQ, and I guarantee most teams are already there. 3D Max didn't have to play this, obviously, that's our first game, so I bet they're already in Melbourne right now. Getting over it, and they might have been there for a few days, and that's a big advantage for them, but we have to just see how it goes. Right?
And for people who don't know, I think just like medically, it takes 1 day for 1 hour of jet lag for your body to adapt.
8 hours, I think, with the time zone differences. So
so you would need to have perfect conditions. You would need to be there 8 days before.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Do you know what? It's crazy when I hear this because I lucked out so hard by like going to America. I never get jet lagged. I don't know why, but I have zero problems going to America. I always feel fine.
The other way is way worse.
When we went home from America, you get absolutely wrecked. But when we did Shanghai for the major, obviously I'm not playing. I've just got to be awake doing interviews, right, and making some content. But I was in Singapore before, which is obviously not too far away. I did like 2 weeks in Singapore, and then I went to Shanghai, and I was great. I remember media day. Some people were just like sleeping in between the photos, like having little naps and stuff on media day. Like it was the craziest media day. Some of the people who had never traveled ever for the RMRs to like a foreign country like this, like as in other side of the world, they were completely destroyed by it. So hopefully your system works here, Ash.
Yeah, but I think doing it for 1 day is probably not going to have the biggest impact, like you said. So
it's probably going to help something, but
it's better than nothing.
We're putting a plaster on like half. You know, it's maybe it makes a difference.
Obviously, you said you had to talk with the team after the MRQ, right, of how to get over this the really painful position of not making the major. How confident do you feel about the team's confidence going into Melbourne as well? Because actually, if you look at your group, you got a pretty good chance, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we have to play at a good level. It's tier 1 LAN, right? It's always going to be difficult. I mean, Mao's like one of the best teams in the world. It's not going to be the easiest thing. And Big have probably in a similar mentality as us, where they're very disappointed they're going that late, and they feel like there's like maybe added pressure on them to go prove themselves after doing this. So the talk today was just like so much of the game is just obviously mental. Like you're talking about yourself, like are you worried about the form and everything? So obviously the way to fix that isn't tactical, to go into tactical depth and fix all the problems. It's making sure that everyone is focused on the next tournament, and we have to leave this in the past as much as we feel aggrieved. We also have to look back and say, best of ones, it was unlucky. Playing online, we haven't been good online. I think so far as a team, we've won 3 games. And we've lost 5 now, and we won a game against a team that I was sure was match fixing against us because they battered us on the first map, and then they just threw the other games. It felt easiest thing ever. That's 3 of our wins in 8 games, you know. But on LAN, I think we have like 65% win rate or something. So we have to like look at it overall the picture. What have we achieved so far? The teams we've beaten, I think we've beaten 5 teams that are top 12 recently this year so far, and then the best team we've beaten online is 500. Ranking wise, so obviously online we've been really super poor. So now we have to get back into the vibe of everything. So we've finished top 10 in all 3 LAN events we've been to this year, tier 1 events, and we have to remember this now. And sometimes the hardest thing is to remember this good stuff because of the bad thing that just happened. Right, it's just like a setback in life. Everyone obviously feels super disappointed to miss out on a major. It's the one tournament you want to play with. It's financially obviously super important as well, even if it's not as much as previous years. And you get your sticker in the game, right? Like, it's how great is it to go in a matchmaking game or something and put your own sticker on your own gun, right?
Yeah, it's massive.
Something like that. Yeah, it'd be great for them. So, can we rebound now? I believe we can. I think we've got a super mature group of people who are really close together, and we'll go there now. It's just the jet lag as well. It feels like we're kind of jump in the deep end a little bit of doing it this way. And
but you have best of threes. You have best of threes.
But I think no matter what happens, we can take away the start of the year. And I don't think we fluked anything as much as teams might say we're a bit gimmicky or anything. I think we're playing really good tactical CS 90% of the time with some tricks. Obviously, I think we have to have some tricks, but I think every team should have some tricks anyway. This is just
sometimes you have to.
Why would you not do it? It's such like a mental breaker as well, right? So I'm not worried at all. I think we will be good again playing there. Can we get a win or whatever? I don't know, but then we need to focus on the next tournaments anyway. When we have proper conditions, when we're not jet lagged, when we are prepared, we have a reset. That'd probably be a better judge of us right now, but we know that from what we showed this year, there's no reason why we couldn't go playoffs or go deeper. So I feel good about it still.
Did it feel like you had to attend this event as well, right? You got no choice for it, because I know a lot of teams are trying to skip it, but I guess in your situation, you want to attend as many of the bigger tournaments as possible.
Yeah, I think we don't want to. It's like a privilege, to attend these tier 1 events, and the travel side of it is just part of being a pro. I think if you have like insane amount of VRS points, you can pick and choose your battles, and you can sign with some of these tournaments. I think some teams probably are doing it, and you can do it. But like I got one of these questions asked in Bucharest, like, is this tournament mean less for you? And no, it means, if anything, it means more for us. If other teams are thinking it means less, then
yeah.
Oh, I asked you that.
It was you asked me. Do you think Dexter thinks it meant less to him right now when he wins a tournament? And the same with Melbourne. We're going to go play in front of a crowd, hopefully. Like, it's super motivating to do that. And if teams want to drop out for us, then fine, let's go.
And it's also like it kind of builds up the rest of the year as well. I mean, if you do well in this tournament, you're gonna keep getting these LAN invites. You're gonna keep being in these positions it just builds to the next major. It starts now, and it's essential. You see teams drop off, and if you're not in this kind of table where you are getting invites, you could potentially not even have to play this online qualifier next year or next major. If you do well in this tournament, so it's massive.
Yeah, fully agreed. We want to get the invites and stay at these top tournaments. We don't want to have to grind through these teams that I'm saying are cheating just to get a chance to play at the RMR itself. So that's motivation itself. Like, we're not going to lose any motivation. Maybe a little bit of confidence here and there. I think we'll be fine.
When we're looking at the tournament as a whole, like, who do you have obviously of favourites outside of Vitality? Vitality is the obvious one. Where does your mind look at this?
Let me just check the teams real quick. I mean, it seems at the moment like there's a few teams that are just standing head above the rest, right? And that's obviously Vitality and Mousesports, another one, and Spirit. And I think Spirit are not here.
Spirit, right? They got sickness.
That's replaced by Complexity, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, and that's actually a really good timing for them. Actually, it makes it a bit more exciting as well. Watching a team.
Because a lot of teams said no to it. So I'll bring this up because
I think it was G2.
There were so many other teams that got invited before Complexity. It was G2 Furia, Astralis, Wildcard, Bait, and Heroic, and they all declined.
I'm surprised. That's very surprising.
It's a weird one, yeah.
Yeah, but I think the Mouse and Vitality are the teams that are fighting out, right? And they're both happy not to see Spirit there as well. So I think those two, they are vying for like trophies right now. That's interesting, and also obviously Na'Vi as well. Like, are they able to overcome this like slump of form and kind of continue? And then even the Mongols, like, they just had like a terrible Bucharest, and I really do think these teams. This is one of the scariest teams out there. Can Falcons keep it going as well? Like, there's a lot of interesting storylines there. FaZe, are they just dying right now, or are they just going to fall apart? Are they going to show what they can do? Like, obviously it's a super interesting S-tier tournament. I think Battye is too hard to look past. I think it's almost like you're just saying who's going to come second place. Like, that's kind of like
it feels like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's how
it feels like that every tournament.
Yeah, they just want to cement it, go for the Grand Slam. Like, yeah, they have a lot to play for. I just think that they're the best team right now. Maybe Mouse can upset them, but I think they're the only team right now that can stop them is Spirit and Mouse. Spirit also not here.
Yeah. Well, I wish you the best of luck for it. I wish you the best of luck for it all. I know it's going to be a hard slog. How long is the journey? How long have you got to fly?
They were flying to Doha first, I think. So it's like 9 hours and then 15 hours. I think so it's 24. I think it's about 20. I think it's 24. Maybe it's a little bit less. But obviously, we're going to stop over in wherever we're transferring. I can't remember where it is. So nice little easy 24-hour flight.
Easy 24-hour flight. Oh my! That's
last time I went home from that Melbourne tournament. I had 2 randoms next to me in this like middle chair. For like 15 hours.
No.
Regon, he abandoned me and upgraded to first class.
It's the worst when you're on like the window seat and then you have to like go to the bathroom or something and everyone's asleep.
Yeah,
you have to wake them up. That's when it's horrible.
I'll just say I have privilege because I never have to take a middle seat. Like I'm always on the edge or a window because I'm too big to be. You're quite tall as well, Ash. Though, like, I never.
My legs.
I'm always like I always say to them, like, guys, you can't put me in the middle seat. Like, this is not fun. And I always somehow just wing my way through it. But yeah, that would be killer.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you guys can bounce back. Thank you so much for joining us for the whole episode, Ash. Is there anything you want to say, like closing thoughts on out to the public about what you're doing? I know you got the fantastic YouTube as well.
Yeah, I think that I'd say first off, it's the support that like all the guys are getting is super nice, and obviously as well for myself. Like, we're kind of getting to the point now where I'm starting to get haters, and it's kind of unusual. Like before we made the Paris final, it just felt like no one even knew my name. If I walked in like an event, I was like, does the single player even recognize me? And also it just feels like people are just saying hello and stuff. So it's a bit weird, and I'll say as well to other players, if I've seen you rude or anything, it's just because I just have like a feeling that no one knows who I am a lot of the time. So I just feel like it just feels awkward to say hello or anything and be like, who the fuck's this guy, So in that sense, I think the support and everything's amazing. The guys, like, it's means so much to them, and I feel so disappointed that we've kind of let a lot of people down because, like you said, you expected us to go through, and we expected ourselves to go through as well, right? And we wanted to obviously be there, and we're trying really hard. We're working super hard. I'm super proud of the way that things are going. So to not be there, we're just as disappointed as anyone else, and we're actually seeing like a fan base now. Like I was obviously here back in the days where we had like one person ever. Like his name was Lorian Dan, who was the only guy that ever commented on any of our games. And now we play a game and there's constant comments, people saying things, brought up and stuff. And to see this like growth since I've been here, it's so nice. And seeing like, what we've done over so many years. And I do feel like this is so disappointing. I've had so much like credit given as well in the scene, and now obviously the streak of 4 majors in a row has ended. Not going to be a 5th one.
Yeah.
It's really sad. We feel super down about it. We're going to try our best to bounce back, show what we can do. We do have a super exciting team. Everyone here does so much, and we try to do everything we can to keep these guys together, do something special, and hopefully they enjoy kind of watching us as well. And I'll try and stop whining so much about things that are going wrong.
No,
it's fair. It's fair.
Keep whining.
It's like a whole new environment of Counter-Strike right now, so it's lots to whine about.
I am an old British guy, obviously, so I have a lot of things to whine about. It's what we do best, right? Is Brits. So
exactly.
Just try to be a bit more honest with it and give some interviews that I would like to read as well and watch myself. So. Hopefully people don't take it out as arrogance. Trust me, I have a very humble opinion of myself sometimes, probably a little bit too much. So
probably too humble, I think. Yeah.
Thank you for the support for everyone, and so we'll try our best in Melbourne and keep supporting us.
We're definitely both big fans of you as well. We've been crediting a lot of the team's success, and just the rebuilds you've been able to do, mate, have been crazy. Like, we're obviously losing key players over and over again, and yet you always come back and you always find some gems. I think that's very impressive. So that's something you should 100% be proud of.
And to be able to keep that motivation going it's a hard thing. Like I tell you, keep getting your best players picked off year after year and just keep rebuilding. It's not an easy task. So I'm super impressed by everything you've done.
Oh, we forgot one thing, Ash. It's viewer questions from the Discord. I can't miss this because otherwise the Discord will kill me. All right, cool. Devilwalk, I'll ask the first one. You can do the second one. All right. So this one is from Jaff is cool. I really hope he's cool. It says, having been with GamerLegion for a long time, it's 5 years now, right?
Yeah, I think in 1 month, I think it's 5 years.
Yeah, so 5 years on GamerLegion. Have you had to change or adapt your coaching style from when you first joined until now?
Yeah. Of course. Like, I say this when I talk to people all the time. Like, it's the same with players, right? Players have to adapt, have to learn like lots of different things. The same as a coach. Like, most of the time you're taking on, it's so much trial and error in coaching to actually see things that work and see things that don't work. You see things that didn't work but they should work, and you kind of step back and You try and evaluate everything. I just think it's one of the main reasons why coaches shouldn't be younger most of the time unless they are super mature, because I feel like 5 years ago I was just rubbish to us as a coach. I reckon that if you asked Mezzi truthfully about me as a coach back when I was coaching him 5, 6, 7 years ago, he'd probably be like, oh, he was okay, he worked hard, he had a good attitude and stuff. But I know that a year ago I was probably terrible. And probably the same with like Shuey and stuff when he was on the team when we went to Paris Major. I feel like I'm significantly better than them because you have to evolve all the time. You have to learn to be a better person, to trust people, and to hide your frustrations a lot of the time and to turn them into like things to work on. Like it's just a never-ending process. And I think if you're not improving, like I say to the players, if you're not going forwards, you're going backwards. You can't stay where you are. You've got to keep improving. And there's no reason why a coach shouldn't be different. And if I want to actually have a stamp on a team and show my worth, I have to be better every day. And that comes from like evaluating most of the time and listening to people's criticism, listening to post-game talks, encouraging people to talk. There's so many ways that you can improve.
Yep. All right. This one is from Ace1GG. When the team experiences a major failure, like not qualifying for a major, do players tend to lose motivation? If so, how do you as a coach help restore spirits and motivation?
Yeah, of course you do. Like it's like I even said today, like I asked everyone, how are you feeling? Like individually, like are you motivated? And at the end of it, I try and say my honest opinions that yesterday I was super demotivated, and like this is human, it's normal, and we shouldn't hide this from each other. And when we play and we lose a lot of times, I say like, let's not have a talk now. Let's talk later. Go be angry, be mad, do whatever you need to do to calm down. Let's not make any emotional decisions or anything. Let's talk. And like usually we talk like 30 minutes after if we lose, like after a game. But yesterday was such a big disappointment that we didn't even consider talking yesterday. We just the whole day chill, doing your own thing. Don't wind each other up. You gotta give each other space that we need to do it. Obviously, we're trying to help each other as much as we can. And then today was like a big talk, like let's focus like more on the future. And this is just kind of how you have to deal it as a coach, to see the human side and be like, you know what, everyone here wants to be professional, and no one here wants to say that they're disappointed, they're sad, or demotivated. But you have to understand that they probably are in some way, and everyone has to have time and space to deal with it. You can't just say, you're a professional, you shouldn't feel bad right now because you have a tournament to focus on. Of course, they feel terrible and everything, right? So it's just the same as anything. That you need to be confident, and confidence is like all in your head. So you have to talk about it, be as open as possible. So we talk about it. I think I go away. I talk with my girlfriend. There's lots of good ideas about it as well. I try and bounce off ideas as well. Sports psychologist off IMD, my assistant coach as well. Try and find what we all believe would be a good like way to deal with the situation, and go and deal with it. You sit there and don't do anything, most of the time it just doesn't fix itself, as in nearly all the time, and you just don't want to risk one person going to an event and not feeling themselves or feeling down.
Yeah.
Obviously they will a little bit, but you have to try and promote talking and make it a safe space for people where they feel like they're valued, and you have to try and mediate that as well, and understand that people can be frustrated at each other, but it's fine and it's normal and it's human, and try and just talk about it. There's nothing else you can do. You have to talk about it.
Yeah, great answer.
Thank you very much. Yeah. You said about your girlfriend, by the way. Does she follow esports? Was she into it before you?
No,
just through you.
She still.
That's good. You can bounce ideas off. Really?
She still mocks me for it now. Like the thing is, she was an accountant when I met her.
Yeah.
And she isn't now because she wants to change career, and I'm really happy for her. Like, I'm proud that she's done that. But now, if there's Counter-Strike or anything, like for example, when we played the any best of threes at this event, she will watch the start of the broadcast right until the end. Won't leave like wherever she's watching it, and watch all the analysis and everything.
Damn.
And she'll do everything, and she's following the teams. Like the amount of time she's like, "Oh, like this leaker said this about the rest of it." I'm like, I don't even know about this. Or she's this is a person who didn't know anything, like even esports.
Yeah.
Like
that's so cool.
I know she follows it more than I do now. Like I try and get away from it. She's like, "Oh, did you see this, and this?" I don't want to talk about it.
No, please stop. Let me have a normal bit of downtime. All right. The next question is from Skorga. He's a regular out here. He says, "What do you consider your biggest achievement as a coach?"
I think I'd say the thing that I tweeted about when we made the major, the Shanghai one. I think because. Like I say that one because we made such a difficult decision at the time to make a roster change and bring Towson in like 2 months before, and obviously all the majors are so important to organizations and everything. And to make that change, and obviously, like, there's been a weird criticism of me recently where people are saying, like, PR is an obvious choice, and Rez is an obvious choice, and Towson was good where he played, Slender was good at endpoint.
But they weren't obvious choices when they were made.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, they are obviously all doing really well, but the question is, can they step up to the next level and perform on LAN, perform under the extra pressure, the expectations, playing against these top teams? Like when we took Slend, for example, they barely played against any top 50 when we played with them. The same with Farmers, who was doing really good on the Amiga, but can you identify someone who will step up and perform at the next level? And when we did that at Shanghai, it felt like I had made so many risky decisions to go there and going back in fully on youth to try and do it. And that felt like, to me, like I was putting my reputation on the line nearly. And if we didn't make it, like, I understand the repercussions that coaches loses a job and they just never get another chance again. And especially when you're like a no-name player like I was, like, it's 10 times harder when you weren't a pro player, because obviously there's a lot of coaches now who just, their first job is on the tier 1 team straight away, right? And imagine that 5 years of me grinding my ass off and everything to be here now to just attend tier 1 lands, obviously, you know. So for me, Shanghai was so important because we just brought Flowers into an English-speaking team. Not knowing, and put him in all these new positions he'd never played in before, by the way. This was such a, and we paid a lot of money for him, by the way. Obviously, we made significantly more when we sold him in the end. And then doing it with all these other players, like having decent buyouts in tier 2 and putting it together and making a team that could qualify, but not just qualify. We did it the hardest way possible, and then we went through the next stage, and then we won games in the stage after that. That for me has to be my biggest achievement, because I feel like it took so many stages to get there. This wasn't like, if you look at Paris, you go, Emma was unbelievable, Aiko was unbelievable, Shui, what a guy, like, what a call, like, the next breakout guy. The other guys did a great job. I think this one, you say, starting from scratch, doing everything, taking all these risks, and the sleepless nights, and me going, is Flamus as good as I think he is? Is he as good? Do I really trust this? This is such a big decision, spending this money when we don't have it, to go and do it, and back on the fact that we need to make the majors. This was like insane pressure for me, and like, that has to be like number one.
Who do you have to go to when you say, like, okay, I want to spend this money on this kid? And how do you get approval for that? How does this work in Ash's and the GameLegion's world?
Usually it's, I have to be super set on it. I get a lot of, are you sure? Are you sure? It's really, this guy really not good? Will he definitely make us this good? Will this? And I'm just thinking all the time, like, please stop asking me. I'm making me doubt myself at this point. Like, obviously it's a huge risk. I'm going to the CAO, we have lots of calls, management, like different people. Like, it's really hard. You're having to, like you said, you're putting everything on the line. You're saying that if this doesn't work, this is my responsibility. Like, you're saying it over and over and over. And they go, okay, we back you from the past. We're going to do it. I'm going to do everything we can to make you do it. And certainly I have to say thank you for trusting in that sense. Because if they don't do it, then I don't get the guys that I want to work with.
Yeah.
I got a personal question off the back of this with just the Flammer situation. How hard was it to let him go when, obviously, like, my biggest worry for you was he was such like a explosive player and was so good to have for you guys, and he did so much, like, he was just a unique player. But then letting him go and then also thinking he's going to go to a VP where he's not going to get the same treatment. Like, I personally was worried for him as just someone I do interviews for, you know? You were his coach. You must have been nervous about that move.
Yeah, man, I'm kind of a bit upset that he's not doing as well as he is, and I feel like he's already losing a bit of what I saw was his specialty. You know, like he just doesn't vibe with anyone on the team on the stage, and I hope he doesn't feel the same way. He just looks like this from the outside, but like, he's such a special kid and special talent. He's such a nice person as well. It's obviously
he's super. You know, he does interviews, right? And then he's like one of the only people afterwards. He's like, "Thank you for asking me to do an interview," and he's shaking my hand and stuff after. He's like, dude, you wouldn't think, and this isn't like a bad thing about Russian people, but it's just, it's not his first language, and yet he still knows all these good manners and like being polite. It's the most unexpected shit ever when he does it. I'm just like, no, dude, you don't need to thank me for the interview. Like, I want to speak to you. This is great.
Yeah, the weird thing is, it feels like I always had the same thoughts, but it seems like the Russians are so nice to each other. Like, it's so unbelievably polite when you know what they're saying. Like, you listen to them, you're like, it sounds so aggressive, and then you talk to fans, it's like, oh, this guy's so nice. He's like asking all these different things. Like, no one else is doing this the way they're doing it, like, so nicely. So yeah, like it was super hard. Like, I was on holiday at the time for Christmas. Like, I've said it before as well. Like, I don't think I've had like a proper uninterrupted holiday in 5 years or something now. And then you get the message that, we have this huge offer for Flamus and he really wants to go. And obviously I respect him as well because playing with the players he admires, like Electronic Games, like his hero and stuff, and he said he wants to go. We tried to do the best we can make it happen, but also try and keep him. And then the MVP said, we really, really want this kid. And they went for him. So for us, it was back to the drawing board. But then we get Rez and PR in, and wow, when Nima was here, he had like one of the highest highs in CS:GO like history when he played that major. But for me, that kind of came almost a little bit out of nowhere because he was a really, really good player. But for me, like Rez is such an unbelievably complete player. He's the best player I've ever coached. I'm sure I've said this to him as well. The skill set he has, the reading of the games, communication, like he's so crisp, and I feel like he's getting better. And he's just an unbelievable player. And then PR as well. Like PR is the future. He's going to be one of the best players in all of Counter-Strike. So to lose Flamus, it softens the blow a lot when you think, wow, we brought in two absolute unbelievable
what
players
you got off
here.
the back of it.
Yeah, and like I said, with the motivation and everything, like it keeps you motivated when you've got something you really believe in. So yeah, I mean,
actually, I've stood behind the Res in Epsilon way back, and I still consider him one of the best mechanical players I've ever watched. Ever. Like it's insane. It looks like a robot.
It still is now. Like, his crosshair placement is like elite. I think he just needs a bit more ego, a bit more self-belief. If he gets that, because everyone in his team trusts him so believably, you wouldn't believe how much his opinion like holds weight in this team. When he starts believing it even more, like I think that it's just a matter of time till he bangs out a few top-tier opponents and he sticks with him and he's able to do it. And we just get one of the best players in the world that did like Nip wanted to throw on the bench and they want to leave him there. And like I said earlier with Buchholz, got off the bench super fast and now people are like, okay, Chris is potentially back.
Yeah. But it's not even just back. I think he will be better than his peak under you guys. I truly believe that.
I hope so. If he can keep it going, then for now,
I think that.
I think there's one more question.
Oh no, I haven't finished yet. Sorry, because this is interesting now. Because he just said about Rez and PR. But are you now slightly worried that you might lose someone like PR as well?
You can't live with worry. You just can't do it.
You're putting trauma into him.
No, I just mean I'm traumatized already for what he's had to go through, right? With all the players he's lost. Like after the Paris major, losing what you did was rough, and now you're back rebuilding again. This team's actually really good. And then everyone's hyping up PR, and he is phenomenal. He's very. You're
like putting like the end of the world scenario in front of him. Like, does anything matter?
I'll worry about this one on holiday
in the summer. Oh no! But no, does it cross your mind?
Nah,
honestly,
honestly, you don't like. Even if this happened and GamerLegion decided to sell again, and we said we have to sell. Like, obviously, I'm not going to worry about it because the team overs you. Because you want to just live in the now, focus on the next tournament, and this is kind of how I've always operated. So take it. Melbourne next.
Melbourne next. There we go. All right, then we said one more question, then we can let him go because he's already given us.
This one is also from Scourger. Which player surprised you the most, positively or negatively, once you started working closely with them?
Well, I think I probably mentioned the three guys I just mentioned. So when we took Emma at the time, they just got relegated from MPL, and we just survived. And we messaged him on April because he put an April Fool's Day tweet out saying that he's looking for a team, like people always do, and they just say, "Oh, just checking." And we actually thought, maybe we'll message him. And just so happened we caught him like just as his contract was ending. We couldn't like buy anyone at the time, so we brought him in, and his English wasn't very good, and he was playing these random positions. Like he was always a B short player on Mirage, and I said, "Do you want to try connector?" And he was like, "Nah, not really." I was like, "I think you should try connector." He was good. And I swear to God, every practice he was just getting 40 kills. And it was like for a full week, I was like, there's no way that this guy is just consistently doing this. Like eventually he's just going to stop having good games, right? Speaking all of the time, so much initiative. And I was like, okay, this is ridiculous now. It doesn't even seem like it's just fluke, whatever. And we had him, and he was so consistent the entire time he was here. He was so good. And then when he peaked at the end of CSGO, I was so like not surprised by it because he seemed like he'd refined his game like so perfectly. So him for sure. And then, like I said, Rez, I thought we would get Rez in and he'd be like low on confidence and maybe he wasn't as sharp as he used to be. But he just looks, he's so motivated and he works so hard and so well and he's such a great example for everything. It just feels like, what's the catch here? Why did he get rid of it? What happened? Like, how could it be so bad for them, And then also PR, who sat behind me waving at the camera.
Hello.
I followed this guy for a long time, but then when Mars NXT he sold all the players, and he didn't play HLTV for nearly a year, I believe, something like that. I was.
He's really tuning in right now when you're talking about him.
When I was concerned because people said like PR's an obvious pick, yeah. But when he doesn't play for a full year, I don't know if this guy is just doing nothing, if he's not playing the game or anything anymore. I've got no idea. And then when we're watching Face-It games to see how he's playing and what his decision making is and what his aim is and everything. And then bring him in and you see actually he's a kid who really thinks deeply about the game and the emotional side and everything. Like he has a long way to go still on this and regulated stuff, but he's only 17, so I'm not surprised. But the level of his decision making is so good. I mean, there's obviously always improve and everything, but it's so good. And I was not expecting that. I thought we'd get another really raw player in. But we have to work with super hard, and eventually, like he understands the game a bit more and things like make more sense. But he's just fit in. Like he's gone from tier 3, whatever, to not playing HLTV to tier 1, and he's smashing it every event. And he doesn't think he's. You know what? He doesn't think he's even doing a good job. By the way, like
I was hyping him up so much when I first. I think what was the first event I met him was Kato.
Yeah, I think
it must have been. It must have been Kato.
Yeah. But he genuinely he doesn't even think he's doing a good job, and I keep telling him over and over he's doing an amazing job. We're super proud of him. He can be so much better than what he's showing as well, and he's doing it in like difficult, unorthodox positions quite a lot of the time. With his like, you can see like what his style is, you know. And I've seen a 17-year-old kid who has like a style that makes sense and good decision making. He's been great to work with so far. So I was not expecting to drop a kid like that in it straight away. I thought it'd just be like really good aimer, super talented. What a mess. Let's spend 3 months trying to help him.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for all that insight, Ash. Again, it was a pleasure to have you on, man. Good luck with the travel. Good luck with Melbourne as well. And hopefully some of that positivity will come your way and the changes from all the systems and everything as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Really nice to be on.
It's been awesome
much love, man.
to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, so we were blessed to have another guest, and Ash gave us a lot before he had to run off and get some sleep. That was fun though, man, and I'm happy the way he spoke his mind.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm honored to go to bed.
Yeah, super easy to talk to. It's always nice. You don't even have to push him any questions.
Thanks very much, guys.
Blabbering his mind on, and it's quality stuff.
Bye-bye.
So really happy to have him here.
Now I'm going to take a quick look at the other MRQs. We touched on the European one a lot with Ash, but I'm going to come to the South American one first. There's still one more spot to go, but the teams that made it were Fluxo and Imperial. If you just look down this, right, Fluxo was not a team I had, like, after seeing Legacy and Imperial, how well they did, I expected that, but I didn't have Fluxo as a team that was going to be one of the ones making it, especially making it first throughout their group. That was impressive.
It's kind of impressive art coming back with a team doing it. And Legacy, I think, was ranked the best in the whole qualifier for South America.
Exactly.
I think Imperial was kind of, I expected them.
Yeah, they got a lot of experience now. They're good guys.
And Legacy seemed like they were an up and coming and would make it. But yeah, I'm actually happy seeing Art back. You know, I've missed him. I've missed
people
that
gave
guy.
him so much shit for the end of Fury, but Fury still hasn't been doing good. So it is nice to have him in a position.
Yeah, I've missed that super aggressive kind of secondary opening style that he brings.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be an exciting one actually.
And then on the North American side, Wildcard made it. Obviously, a lot of people are a bit unhappy that they used Stewie for the qualifiers to be like an NA team and then play with their European players after this. Again, this just comes back to bullshit rules that need to be fixed by Valve. Obviously, we had Drillers last major. Now we're going to have this wildcard thing this major. But there's always something until these rules are all fixed and done.
Yeah.
I also think wildcard should be able to play NA anyway, because you've got Stanislaw and Jaber, yeah. Then you have Sonic as well, who's from South Africa, and then 2 Europeans. South Africa's not Europe, right? So like Sonic, I think, lives in America because he moved to America ages ago.
Studies in America for
so
I don't know how long. It's many years.
I could be wrong, but I saw Swisher, for example, from M80 complaining about it. But it's like, I don't know. I'm not gonna be too harsh on them about that personally. We'll have to see what comes out the back of it. Complexity was well and expected to make it through. Like they just dominated. That's what I want to see, especially after what we said we saw from them.
Well, they had some close games actually.
Do you blame them when they flew back from Bucharest?
No, I don't. But I'm happy they made it. They've been looking really hot lately. So definitely, like, if anyone I was thinking about coming to from the Americas, it was wildcard and complexity. Would be interesting to see maybe an NRG with that kind of Nitro team with Bro, Hex, George, and OC.
I'd like that.
Yeah.
Who's on the Blue Jays? Though? People are hyping up these Blue Jays because it's got Warden as the coach, but I don't know. I heard of Snav and Dare. I don't know any of the other players. Freshy, Fruit, Cubex, and Slight. I don't know those guys.
Slight, I think I've seen the name.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure anything
it's because
about
he's
him.
been on wildcard. Okay, that's why.
Okay. Then going to Oceania and Sea. So we're just going to run through this quickly. It's not the most exciting ones. FlyQuest take the only spot that was there. They 2-0 every single game. Yeah. Did they look challenged? Let's see. Not really any super close. No, they just dominated.
No, they dominated it through and through.
Talon obviously lost their sponsorship, lost their organization. Semper Fi, I think, is quite interesting. Keen, he was someone's boyfriend, I forget who, but like he's got Alistair on there.
Alistair,
obviously, yeah, and Savage. We saw him before with his nickname's fucking amazing anyway because his surname is Savage. But his dad's very involved in the team. He had him in Europe practicing a lot. Savage does some cool YouTube videos as well. There's a lot of content out there. So is someone trying to do a little bit more than the normal?
Family relation? Any relations to JKS? To Justin
I don't know.
Savage?
I don't know. We've never publicly seen that. Google it quickly. See if that's a thing. Find out for us.
That?
Is JKS related to Savage?
You think anything is going to show up?
AI could do it, maybe.
All right, we'll have to check that later. We'll return with that info.
Do you know what's crazy? Coming on to the only other region we got. No, there's two more regions to look at. We got to look at the. Okay, it says Asia regional, but it's 3 Mongolian teams and what's this? Indian team. Indian team came 3rd. The Huns came 4th. I thought with the Huns, they made it to Blast as like a replacement for Atox. I thought that might give them some experience to make it like somewhat competitive in there. But Chinggis Warriors, they won 2-0. Then they lost 0-2 to Eruption, who came second, and they ran it back. They ran it back. That's impressive. That's quite exciting. Them Mongolian scene, by the way, on the Huns, Battye is actually Mazzinio's older brother. Mazzinio replaced him on the Mongols. So that's 3 full Mongolian teams, plus the Mongols. That's impressive. That region's got talent, man.
It's kind of funny looking at the results here as well, like Chinggis Warriors versus Eruptions. First matchup is Ancient and Anubis. They lost both of those. In the finals, none of them were played. Because Mirage does to Nuke.
Switched it up, tried to catch them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was what gives us the Asia region done in there. And then for China, this one I'd say was a small surprise. Lin Vision and Tyloo have been the top dogs for the Asian region for a while. Tyloo, we obviously saw him at EPL. I quite like what we saw from them. But I thought Rare Atom was going to make it because they also played in Bucharest and stayed in Europe for a few days after to prepare. So they were getting some extra practice in there. Yeah. But it's like
some moments.
They lost in overtime on Anubis to Tyloo and then just lost 13-7 on Mirage. Oh, tough times.
Yeah.
But Tyloo being back at a major, that's fucking good. That is very good for the Chinese scene. Obviously, a huge organization has been there for the longest time. Still waiting to see a Chinese team rise up.
But I mean, considering, we just had a conversation with Ash about it, this could be an event where the Asian region with China actually gets a few extra spots, and we're going to see a lot more of them taking spots from Europe. It's a possibility for this.
Europe just keeps losing spots.
Yeah.
Over and over again. Oh, it keeps happening. But that's the MRQs done. Obviously, there's still the South American and final North American spot up for grabs. I want to come back to something we touched on, an interesting event. It's called Level Up Lund 2025. We spoke about this event because both Ninjas in Pajamas and there was another team that was going to go as well, but the main one was Ninjas in Pajamas, You've got 9 there as well as another European team.
So
We're heading to this event. Yeah, a lot of Scandinavian, Swedish and Danish teams.
It's kind of like a Swedish local LAN
Yeah.
that these bigger teams are kind of going in chasing VRS points essentially, because
it had some money by it.
LAN wins
more.
and the money adds some VRS points.
And what did you say when we first spoke about NIP going to this event?
I can't remember what the other event they were going to, but there was 2 events we had a discussion about. Fragadelphia and Level Up Lund. And essentially we were saying that they need to win kind of both of them if they want to like kind of skyrocket in the ranking, and they should if they want to be that kind of team that they are aiming to be. These are the events they need to kind of brush off and just pick up as they attend them. And I didn't believe they would win any of them. And they got knocked out, to be fair, by the winners of the event in the first game.
Yeah, but
the winners of the event is a pretty unknown Ukrainian squad, where one guy has a HLTV picture. The rest are just, kind of mannequins, blacked out. And that's not a good sign.
Oh, no. Not a good sign at all. The only player... So let's just look at him as a player here. Just make sure it's the right person I think it is. Yeah, it's the old Vegas Squadron. Yeah, and Hellraiser's player JR from Ukraine. He's the coach.
Yeah.
And this team, I like to pretend I know a lot about Ukrainian players and stuff. These were not names I knew. I didn't expect them to win it. Kane's become CEO, the old Navi and Passion UA coach. He's the CEO of the company now.
Oh,
they obviously brought him in.
Where he went.
Yeah. So that's his new project he's working on. And then they go to this first event. It's a LAN event, some important VRS points like you mentioned, and they go on to win it as the only Nine's European, everyone else is from Scandinavia, and then they come over as the Ukrainians and win the whole event. Let's look at the average age of these guys. So Niffy is 21. He looks a bit older than 21, especially with that beard.
Yeah, he does.
Flyrax 19. Onyx 20. Dowie 17. And Kearney 22. And none of these, by the way, play for a Navi Junior or anything, just to let you know. None of them. These are not players I knew. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful way, but it's I know a lot of these younger Ukrainian players. I was talking to you about Kenzazor making to his first major. I met him 2 years ago and told him that he has potential for something, but that's crazy, man. NIP lose an event like that out in the first playoff round.
Yeah, and I mean, it's great for these TNL boys, and you can see the kind of the jump up they made in. I think they came into the event at rank 106. Winning the event now have bumped them up to world ranking of 50 in VRS.
50?
Yeah, 50. So it was actually significant point change.
That's huge. That is huge.
It was actually a pretty important event, especially if you look at the eyes from NIP, being able to maybe get a few extra invites, since the points stay on for quite a while before they kind of decay, getting these points up, trying to get to that edge of getting invites to either qualifiers or actual tournaments where you can just grind it out even more. It kind of becomes this snowball effect once you're in it, right? So hugely important for a young squad like that.
And just more problems with NIP.
Yes, a lot more problems. But they
I'm sure their salary's not that great right now, but it's you have so much experience on that team, mixing with some actual young firepower. I can't see how are they just not on the same page? Are they just out of it? I feel bad for them, man. I feel bad for the players. Obviously, I feel bad for the players. It's just, it's tough. It's tough. We'll keep an eye on NIP though and see what they're doing. They're in a worse spot than Fnatic right now, that's for sure. Both not making the major, by the way.
I mean, since we last talked, they have been grinding themselves up. I think they were like 140 rank when we talked about them last, and they're ranked 76 now, so they
Below
are
TNL.
slowly getting up there. It's probably not at the pace that they want to.
They did make it to a starter though. That's the good thing. That's the only positive right now for them. All right, what else have we got left to do on our list of things to talk about? Oh, we have to talk about Aurora, obviously Eternal Fire. Now, do you know what? Obviously, I don't know how much you saw of it, but I was there. I was about to do my media day at Bucharest, do my interview with Maja, and the announcement comes out as I'm doing media day. The sign on their door in the practice room was Eternal Fire. The players had not told me anything. I knew nothing. It was like the best kept secret in esports for a long time. Normally, these things are leaked. Normally, stuff's going out there. I saw Maja and I went, bro, I had all these questions prepared for you, and now I've just got more. So you're going to be here for a while with me because I don't know what's going on. And I feel bad for the boys a little bit because I don't know how much the community read of all of this. It was a lot around the Turkish community talking about it as well, but I'll fill people in. Turkey doesn't allow betting sponsors. It's kind of hindered on, Valorant's obviously very popular out there, but it's kind of hindered on Counter-Strike. Space Soldiers back in 2015, 2016 died because of not being able to have high salaries, not being able to get sponsors and stuff, yeah? And Eternal Fire was kind of in a similar position where these players, it's a top 5 team in the world, maybe top 4 now, and they were not getting paid anywhere near like anyone else within the top 10. Yeah, they didn't have the same money, didn't have the same backing.
Like a top 25, 30 team in the world.
Yeah, and some of these guys got families, some of these people are looking for the future. Everyone says how good Zontares is, you know? It's like they needed more. So the organization, the guy who owns Eternal Fire, he thought there was no other decision, so he sold them to Aurora. That means, yes, Eternal Fire players, some of them didn't even know until a few days before that happened, and it just happened. Obviously, they've got 1xBet as a sponsor. In Turkey, that doesn't fly so well. But I'll say one thing. One of the guys who's there from Aurora, he's Turkish. He was talking to them fully in Turkish. Aurora obviously benched their full Russian team. They've signed Eternal Fire. It's a huge move for the organization. But it's a great thing for the quality of life of Eternal Fire. They'll be able to get mental coach now, performance coaches. They'll be able to get access to all the things they've never had before. And this is still the same players and same coach. Yeah? It's still the same team. So anyone hating on this move is like, what do you want from them?
Representing Turkey, no matter how you want to.
And I think even the Aurora guys spoke about how he's going to get the Turkish flag added to the jerseys. Obviously, this is all such a rushed thing that it's like, it's not so easy for everyone to deal with. But the players were under so much pressure playing Bucharest, getting smashed left, right, and center by the Turkish fans, who, by the way, are still some of the worst fans in the world. There are lots of lovely, real Turkish fans who even I've had messages from when I was tweeting about it. But there are some deranged, fucking insane people in the Turkish community who I do not call real fans of this team with the tweets I saw. I was just translating some of the tweets under the players' tweets, yeah? And it's sickening. It's actually fucking unacceptable.
Yeah.
These people should be fucking put locked in a cell. It's horrible, the things they were saying. It's disgusting.
I mean, I can imagine probably a fan base slightly similar to the Albanian community in some sense, where they are fiery people and it's a lot of high. When things are going good, they're probably the best fan base in the world to have behind you.
Yep.
But you also need to have that kind of support with you when things are going bad, and that's probably when you need it the most. To a certain degree, that people still believe in you, and and they shouldn't be in a situation where it's like they're betraying their country or something, just because they want to have a similar working standard as other people in the scene, you know.
And this will help them go to the next level. This is a positive step forward from, yes, you may have supported Eternal Fire. I saw one guy, by the way, he had his Eternal Fire jersey. He put it in a toilet and started pissing on it.
Oh my God.
It's like, oh, you fucking, first of all, you paid money for that, you idiot. Yeah. You are dumb as hell. And second, it's just disrespectful. There's no need for that. That's just
vulgar, man.
Yeah. And he uploaded the videos of that shit. Didn't see his dick, thankfully, but I mean, you could just see him pissing on the Eternal Fire jersey. To me, these players still did okay and made playoffs, yeah? and still are the same players who are now going to have more support. I think this is a good move for them. This is something that was needed. And yeah, someone else might have wanted to buy them or whatever, but this was the deal that their owner sold it for. And the players don't really have a choice in this. They have a contract. Their contract was sold out to these people. Job's done. I do hope they're getting some more money, though. I hope they're getting a lot more money and paid well. Madge's got a family. He's got 2 beautiful kids, you know. His wife, he's always shouting out and trying to look and provide for. They deserve to have some of this, man. Zontaris has a baby as well. Yeah, he's got a family. I don't know if he's married, but I know he's got a child. It's like
and this career isn't forever, you know. At some points they have to earn some money to be able to live off.
They're gonna forever just fly the flag and be like, but I'm gonna be fucking broke and homeless at the end of my career. It's like, come on, man.
No, I think it's a good thing, and I think hopefully most people turn around on that thing and that they feel the support, because I mean it's one of these stories that even if, you know, I'm not Turkish, but I actually love watching these like full national team squads, like Mongols, like Eternal Aurora now.
You're a racist just like Launders. It's perfect.
Yeah, but no, but it is more exciting to watch. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it feels like, okay, they have a less talent pool, so therefore it's more interesting to kind of have this storyline kind of grow in. But there's something about it. Maybe it's nostalgia from my days where basically there was no
there's not many
international teams at all.
Nope.
So it feels a little bit grassroots. It feels a little bit like a homage to Counter-Strike history.
Yep. All right. Well, with that, that's there wasn't many other roster changes for us to talk about. That is pretty much everything done. But we are going to do, as always, Devilwalk, our predictions for Melbourne. I won't be there as talent. I didn't get picked for this one. I'm not happy I didn't get picked for an event, but I am happy I don't have to do that horrible travel day. That is very good. I think I would fall apart doing a 20-something hour travel day. It's not fun. But we got our opening matchups. We got our teams there. Spirit have decided to skip this one, not because of visas. They've got sickness in there. That's a bit sad for them. Again, should we just start by looking at the favorites? So the favorites are Vitality and Mouse, and
I feel like
it.
No, now it gets a little bit rocky. Are you throwing in like, okay, I would bump up Falcons and Mongols and Na'Vi in kind of the same category.
Bro, you're putting my Na'Vi in the same category as Falcons. Thanks.
Yes.
Oh,
but right now they are.
Bad. It's that bad for my boys.
But it's Nico and Monesi.
I am an undying supporter of Na'Vi, right? So it doesn't matter what the results, but it is getting worrying now when they lost to Eternal Fire 2-0 and then lost to Spirit 2-0. It's this, and also I'm even worried about their opening game. We won't talk about it just yet. We'll come on to our predictions later, but yeah, there's a lot in this, man. There's a lot to worry about. And Mongols, they went from making every playoffs back to back. They didn't make the last 2 playoffs. They were on the same kind of run of Aurora. Aurora, who obviously were Eternal Fire. They're not here at this event. By the way, lots of teams said no to this event. And people might think that's weird, but I just want to explain the reason. When you go to Australia, you basically get 2+ days of jet lag going there. If you're not one of the very top teams, your organization is not going to pay for you to come early. I don't know this, but it's not normal for ESL to like pay for flights or something if they want to come 5 days earlier. Normally, the organization has to pay for that, yeah? So then they're going to come to the event, maybe have 1 day, then it's media day. You're still going to be jet lagged and then you're going to play your games. So it's rough. It's really tough playing it. Now, yes, people talk about jet lag. Oh, it's only so much. But a lot of teams didn't want to go to this event and skipped it. So look at this. G2, Furia, Astralis, Wildcard, Bait, and Heroic all declined. Aurora declined. And saw then also Complexity, and now the teams that get added into it. But this is not it's not like the crowd is going to be good, because every Australian crowd I've seen has been good. But it's not a great event for teams when you're traveling back and forward and you maybe got another event afterwards. It's a tough one.
It's also
Mongols, by the way, must live in permanent state of jet lag. Because they go from Mongolia to Australia. They've gone to Bucharest, to Mongolia. Like, they spend a lot of time boot camping in Europe as well. These guys are true Mongolian warriors. Like, there's no other way to say anything about them. Senzu at one point was playing with his broken hand. Now they're bloody just traveling to they don't say no to any events. They're at everything.
Yeah. But for people who don't really realize, like if you start traveling on like a Thursday, like in the morning, you're gonna be there like night Saturday.
Yeah.
Like a whole day just skips.
Oh, you just lose it.
And
because now it's
so
like
weird.
It's 22:44 for me at the moment. Time in Melbourne now, and it's 5:43 a.m. in Melbourne. So it's the morning already. People are getting up soon.
The 18th, right?
It's so crazy. Yeah, they're in the 18th already. They're a day ahead of us. Yeah,
so it'll be like it's like a 36-hour, jump.
That's crazy. Well, it's not really a 36-hour jump because it's like
24-hour plane, plus the 12-hour difference.
Yes, well done. Okay, you're smarter than me on that. All right, let's look down this though. So, Vitality Mal's clear favourites. You're putting Na'Vi, Mongols, and Falcons in this spot of like potential. FaZe, Brokey needs to wake up, and just the team needs to gel together more. Virtus Pro, I never know what to expect from these guys. 3D Max did great until playoffs of Bucharest. GamerLegion, we just spoke to Ash. Let's hope they can beat the jet lag and do some damage here. Yep. Liquid, well, at least they've had more time to practice with Shuhei. Complexity.
Okay, but which group are we starting with here with predictions?
Oh, you want okay? Let's do the predictions. I was just looking down the teams that are playing.
Oh, okay.
Let's just do if you just click matches. Yeah,
I'm looking at all the matches.
See all the
right
matches.
Here.
Yeah, okay.
I'm on the bracket side here.
No. Press matches so you can see the order of matches. So we do the games game by game. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first one's FaZe taking on Pain. Remember, Pain haven't had it announced yet, but they'll be playing with DGT.
Okay.
I believe he's going to come in for Australia. If not, they're going to play with their young 17-year-old talent again, Demo, who didn't play too bad, but he wasn't also outstanding. I think he did okay for his first tier 1 event. I'm still going to give FaZe the win here.
Yeah.
Because they won it last time as well. I don't really see that as upset potential. So we're both agreeing on that. Mongols versus Complexity.
It's a difficult one. I mean,
I love the Mongols, but I'm going to side with Complexity. If they can keep this form up, they're going to be hyped after just qualifying for the major as well.
I kind of want to give it to Complexity too.
Just copying me. I see it.
Right, I can start next.
No. Oh, okay,
I can start next time.
Oh, yeah. Very hard game next.
I'll take Mouse versus Big. Let's see who's copying who.
I'm going to take Mouse, obviously.
I'll take the next one.
3D Max GamerLegion.
This one is a tricky one, but I'm a big fan of GamerLegion. I do think 3D Max, they've been really good. A lot better than I expected them to be.
They've not played an official against each other either, these guys.
Yeah, but they are in that kind of similar level, so it's kind of a coin flip on who's going to win it. I think it's going to be very, very close, but I'll give GamerLegion the edge on this one.
God damn it, I'm copying you some more. So yeah, I would go GamerLegion as well. I think it'll be a 3-mapper. I think there's a bit more of the experience leans on the side of 3D Max, but they haven't played against each other. The only thing is, Ash did say that
they have a little bit of advantage 3D Max on the jet lag part.
Okay, actually, you can take GamerLegion. I'll take 3D Max for this one.
Yeah, I think the first game, it doesn't matter as much. It's going to be when you play like 2 games in the same day. Like, imagine the Tuesday, you maybe play an upper bracket and a lower bracket. I don't even know if there's ever 2 games, actually.
No, there's never.
Either way, if you would, that's when you mess up big time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Only at Katowice or Cologne did they do that, I think.
All right.
Okay, so you're taking GamerLegion, I'm taking 3D Max. Vitality FlyQuest. Woo!
Vitality.
Let's go Vitality. Liquid
this one's
Pro.
interesting.
I'm going to go Liquid. I believe some more time coming together with Shuhei. I believe in Shuhei. I think him.
I'm going to copy you again.
No way. You're going to choose that first, Pro.
I was just about to say the same thing. No, I actually believe. I think that the last event doesn't really tell anything about the potential of this lineup, what they have in store. I think it was way too early in reality to have played the last tournament. So we've seen kind of a mix of liquid, not really any, practice involved. I think they just threw, or not threw, but got thrown in to the tournament and just played it off.
It was just kind of random for him, bless him.
Yeah.
All right, Falcons saw. I'm sorry. Falcons must be. I don't care if they've had even just 2 days of practice with Monesi. It's Monesi and Nico back together.
Yeah, I will say, so have been weirdly impressive considering how.
So you're going to pick Saw?
No, I'm not picking Saw. But I just want to mention, I still think that they can win a couple of games in this tournament. So
okay. Na'Vi MIBR. Obviously, I'm going to take Na'Vi. I would never take any other team.
I think Na'Vi has to win this. I will give it to Na'Vi as well. I'll be boring, but I honestly don't even know what state Na'Vi is in right now. I feel like I'm
hoping they've had a good amount of time off. Like when did they last play? Lisbon on the 28th of the 3rd, the 28th of March. Maybe had 2 weeks of practice at home. They should be fine, surely.
Yeah, but I hope they bounce back, and I want to see more top teams kind of battle it out. I don't want to have only 2 teams or 3 teams essentially. Being the clear favorites above everyone else. I would love a mix-in of 5 teams could battle for a trophy and have a very open end of the year. So love Na'Vi to have a resurgence into that kind of.
By the way, I'm looking at the start times for these games. The final best of 3 ends at 11:45 in the morning for me each day.
Yep.
That's crazy. Grand final starts at 9:30 in the morning on Sunday. That's actually not too bad. Easter Sunday. And it's not this Sunday. It's next Sunday. Fuck.
At least the quarters and the semis start at 9 and 12.
Yeah. It's always going to be rough this side of the world, though. But
yeah,
we'll have to see how it goes. So we're putting as the winners for the whole tournament. You still going all the way Vitality?
There's no doubt in my mind. Vitality.
Okay. So I'm going to hit you with a wild one. Vitality don't care about the win streak. Vitality are going to not care so much about this event, and they're going to be jet lagged. Mals are somehow going to soup themselves up, go to the grand final, and find the way to win. But it doesn't matter, because that means that Vitality will then win in Dallas, and the crowd that said fuck you Apex in the grand final last year will have to witness Apex get his gold bars, the Grand Slam, not called the Intel Grand Slam anymore, just the Grand Slam. And he will sit there with the trophy, a gold bar in his hand, and a medal round his neck while they can't scream fuck you Apex and they have to cheer and applaud him. That's my cinema script leaked. So Mouse.
All right. Who wrote that?
Me. I'm in control of everything.
Well, good, I think that's very likely that, I actually think Vitality is just going to crush this event.
Yeah, if they crush this event, then they just win the gold bars and they do the Grand Slam super fast. Robs gets 2 Grand Slams. Everyone else gets their first. Apex has completed everything at this point. And then
I think they're very, very keen to kind of get this, this is an era. There's no question marks.
Would you agree they don't get the era until after they would need to win the major as well? I don't care if they don't win Melbourne or Dallas or something else, right? But if they win the major and Cologne, for example, as well as having Cato, then I believe it's their era. I don't really care if they win these smaller events as much.
If we're gonna be fair, we're potentially in a Vitality era, right? Because
you'd already say it.
They have to be good for the entire year. They can't just have one kind of off season, half a year, and that's it, and then never return.
But that's what I'm saying. You get the major, you win out the Katowice, the major, and Cologne, and you still you just keep dominating because the other thing.
I would say they probably need the major, but I don't even think that is enough. I think they need to consistently be competing for for the trophies.
Yeah.
After the summer break as well.
But it doesn't. I said even for Falcons can't challenge them until they get one more upgrade. Like, it's still not going to happen. The other sad thing for Melbourne, by the way, is this crazy club share. It's one of these ESL events where the club share is bigger than the prize money, and I really just hate to see it. So the organization gets more money. I feel bad for the players. I feel like, at least with PGL, the club share is exactly the same as what the players get, so it's just 50-50. But this stuff's just wild. And
it's
I hope
second place 50 grand and 100K to the club.
I hope when the club shares like this, that then from the prize money in the contracts where the teams normally have like, we take 20%, that 20% is ignored. I hope that goes away.
Yeah.
I hope that 125 just goes to the players, because this is too watered down, man. These orgs are getting too much, and this is too much like pleasing organizations, pleasing tournament organizers rather than players. Because these players could go off, right? Say their contracts end and they just say, cool, we're going to stick together and be 5 players together. It might they be better off, because then they win an event, they win it all. I know that doesn't factor in for support staff and stuff like that, but
yeah, it's weird. I don't like it either.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. But that brings us to the end, Devilwalk. We're done.
We're done.
We are done. A longer episode today. We had a great conversation with Ash. I hope everyone enjoyed it as well. It's been so much fun getting to do so many episodes back to back. This was, let me just check, episode 8. It featured Ash from GamerLegion. We covered so much. And for all the new people that have come to the channel, please keep giving feedback in the comments. Me and Devilwalk are reading all of it and replying to some of it. We appreciate all the love that came off the Monasy episode. I promise you, we are going to be trying to do more episodes like that where we break news stories as well. No other podcast is doing that. We want to be the one that talks to these teams and organizations and gets that happening. Use my relationship with players, use the knowledge and the contacts that Devilwalk has as well to make that happen, and use this as a platform to do it. Anything you want to say to wrap it up?
No, I mean, I appreciate all the support as well. It's been overwhelming, honestly. We just had a little bit of a WhatsApp conversation like 3 months ago, and like, hey, want to start a podcast? And here we are. And you know, we really, really appreciate all of it. Everyone, you know, asking questions in Discord, to throwing comments on Twitter or through Reddit or YouTube or wherever it is. Keep doing it. Doesn't matter if it's criticism, positive feedback, or, you know, something you want to see us do in the future. So just keep it up. And I hope to see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you on the next episode. It'll be done probably when Melbourne finishes. So after Melbourne is finished, me and Devilwalk can jump on, do the podcast for you all, give you an update of what we saw there, see what's coming up next. Until then, enjoy the Counter-Strike, keep playing Counter-Strike, and look after yourselves. We'll see you soon.